This week's episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you in part by bitching to your boss at work about simple things and your boss ignoring you, because that's what bosses are supposed to do. They're not supposed to fix the problems. They're just supposed to allow the problems to keep on going for you. Bitching, it accomplishes nothing. Hello and welcome back to Here's What I Don't Get, from north to south, east to west, the only intercontinental podcast to tackle all of life's toughest issues and the longest consecutively running podcast on the See You Next Tuesday podcast network. I am your host, Tab Burton. With me today, all the way from the South America, El Chaco.
Hola, mi hinchada! Hey, man, happy New Year to you. It's
Yeah, you guys are like in a different decade, right? Like that's how time works between hemispheres.
pretty much. Yes. I think we're like a comfortable 15 years behind over here. Like, we just got Uber.
Oh. So, there are three drivers in all of the nation.
I wish. No, man. How you been, man? Oh, like you're back to work now. I am. Like the vacation's over. You're right back into it, right?
Yeah, back into the grindstone. And I want to follow up. So last week I was talking about my issue of when above and beyond is the standard, and I talked about these scenic pieces that we hung that we needed to make light up. And so that was Monday when Buck and I recorded that show. On Wednesday, I arrived to work at about 3 p.m. to cover the evening's rehearsal, and the ATD is up in a lift, and he is putting ghost loads on the dimmers for all of these light boxes. So a ghost load, basically, if you have an LED that can't dim all the way to 0, you put an incandescent bulb on the same circuit, and now that incandescent bulb will draw all of the excess power and the LED will stay off. On the bad side of that, though, when you fade the LED up to full, the incandescent also fades to full. So you have to be like careful with them that you don't create more problems. So he's up putting in ghost loads, and I'm like, why are you doing this? So, well, my boss told him to do it. The lighting designer told him to do it, and the lighting designer wants them all separate so that they can be independently controlled. So he's doing all this work, and I'm like, wow, this is a huge waste of fucking time. So Wednesday night, the show happens. Post-show, I kind of watch part of the show. I'm not in there, but I'm in and out. Never once do I see these windows lit up. Not one time during the show. So post-show, I go to the light board, and I start flashing through cues and looking at the channels that the windows are in, and they're in a single queue at 44%, and it's all of them at once. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they'll add these light boxes the next day. But I'm not there the next day. The next day I have class over in Illinois, so I just miss out on that whole situation. What a bummer. Friday, I was supposed to work the show for opening night, but for whatever reason, the production manager that works on my side decided to also schedule themselves for the evening shift. So our boss said, well, if you're going to be here for no reason, then we're going to send Tab home so that he has a night off this week. And I was like, cool, thanks. So Friday night comes around, the ATD and I are about to leave, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm about to have some dinner with some friends and some drinks. You know them. They're also people in theater here in town. If you want to join us, that'd be fine. So he joins us, and the four of us have dinner. Then we go to this other place to eat, and I get there, and 8:00 on the dot is when the show opens. My phone starts ringing. It's the production manager. Hey, this is the lighting designer of this show. How do I turn off those light boxes so that they never turn on again? Literally, as curtain is supposed to be rising to start this show. And fortunately, I'm very, very good at my job, so I knew the exact circuit that they're plugged into and the console commands to make them turn off forever. And I hung up the phone, and I turned to the ATD, and I'm like, guess what that phone call was about? Because we were joking that we were going to get called. We thought we'd get called like 7:30, 7:45. And I'm like, It was about those fucking windows. And now those windows are absolutely not being used, which means that every single minute of time you and I spent on making these fucking windows work is time that was just wasted.
Man, so is that I didn't want to cut you off because like, was that the photo that you sent me with the, like in
Yes.
the group with the kitchen, and then it was like the light there was frames, so they didn't want any light coming through those frames at the back, because that made like complete sense.
They were supposed to light up. That was what all the work we did to make them light up was.
But this guy didn't want them on. He wanted them off forever, right? Is that what he said?
I guess so. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And the thing was that at the beginning of the process, I said, like, I don't want to do this because it's going to be a lot of work, and then they're not going to get used because they suck. Like, I looked at them day one when they showed up in the theater, and I was like, these kind of look like shit. And
sure enough,
and they were just like, do it. Ah, never mind. Just like, and so I'm just going to use this the next time this group shows up with a bunch of stuff that will make light up and be like, well, it sounds like you guys need to hire a master electrician because we don't fucking got one. And I'm not jumping through these fucking hoops again. I'm not wasting my time.
Man, that's gotta be frustrating. You know what? Like, the one thing that I don't envy about what you have to do is working with creatives in general. Just like working with creatives is like, the funny thing about my line of work is that I don't know how this happened, but like now when I get brought in to like conference calls with the clients and stuff like that, they call me the creative, and I'm not. Like I'm really not. I'm not creative. Like, I'm creative enough, but not like, you know, like within my little tiny little box of what I'm doing. But like, I remember when I was like first getting into this business, and I worked for this one guy who had like a very strict dress code for his office. But it was like this like double standard dress code. So for example, like the writers, we all had to wear suits, but like the graphic designers, they could wear whatever they wanted because they're the creatives. They're creatives. Like, they could do whatever. But now onto these calls, I can show up late. I can be wearing a t-shirt. I can do all this other stuff. And they're like, yeah, Joel lives in Paraguay. He's weird and he's the creative. And it's like, I can get away with all this stuff now. So I guess I've made it. But,
if I could, I would wear a suit all the time. I love wearing a suit. People always compliment me when I wear a suit, but I can't wear a suit because I do things where I'll show up to work and it'll be like, hey, you need to do all this stuff. And I'll get
dirty.
Sweaty.
Yeah, it would get dirty and sweaty. And like, I like wearing a suit too, just like anybody else. Like, and it's funny because like, I have two suits that I brought with me, but like the weather is never okay for me to wear it. Like, I wear it for like, it's now down to like they're my East Christmas suits. Like, I didn't even wear it for Christmas this year, but like, because it's too hot. It's too hot.
Because it's summertime there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. And make fun of me because I was like literally wearing golf pants and a golf shirt, and he's like, "Didn't you just come from church?" I'm like, "Yes, I did. yes, I did." And I wore a golf shirt and I wore a golf pants because that's about what I can wear in this climate. In the they're made for this, but yeah, man. Anything else that you did? Anything else interesting in your off season?
So I did start taking a glass blowing class this week.
I saw some of those photos again,
and it was funny. I showed up to the first day of class, and I'm running late because I had to like leave work and drive 35 minutes in 5 o'clock traffic to get there. And so I get there and they're saying my name as I walk through the door, and I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? And apparently they were like, our advanced students are this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, and tab. And which is funny because the advanced students are people who have this is their second and third semester, the son of one of the two instructors, and then me. And it's like, there's a big curve there of experience.
Yeah, because like, you got what, like not even a year, right?
I have less than 30 hours of time in the shop.
Yeah, man, you can open a shop now. Well, for our end of the woods here, like we had a couple of things that happened over the break. The first was fireworks. Like we love our fireworks here, right? Like
Yeah.
I've got enough space. I've got and they sell fireworks at the grocery store. Like you can get them at the grocery store. But the problem I've had is that like there's so much variety of them that I never know which one to get. And
So
I had this.
them all.
Well, see, so like my family, what they'll do from Canada is they'll like, cause like just even sending packages, like I pay like $21 a kilogram for like, air packages to get lifted in. So like my family will do a lot of the whole, like, they'll be like, we'll just send you money and you get it for everybody. So like my Christmas shopping is now like quadruple the size of normal. Cause I got to go buy not just from us, but from everybody in the family and stuff. And so one of the things that I did was I hit up my sister and I was like, hey, I got some stuff for the kids from you. She gave a good chunk of change. And I was like, how about I use the remainder on like fireworks, and then we'll video in with you when we're doing the fireworks, and you can like video and like see the reaction of the kids and all that kind of stuff. So like I went to the grocery store and they had all like this big, huge rack of all the different fireworks. And I came upon this one gigantic box, and it just said on it like the big show. And I was like, all right, here we go. And it was like 600,000 guaranis, which is like just under $100. But I was like, all right, let's US dollars, not Canadian pesos. And I was like, all right, this one will be the one. Like we, let's get this big, huge thing and let's see what this thing does. Now there's like different types of fireworks, as I'm learning. And like there's ones we like and there's ones that suck. And the ones that suck are like everything I don't like about fireworks. Like when they're too loud, and it's just like all it is like especially when it's like near my house and it just like reverbs off of the side of my house and makes it even worse. But these guys like didn't have any colors. they didn't have any colors. It was just a bunch of booms, like just everywhere. And it was like over with in like less than a minute, like 45 seconds. And I was like, that was the big show. But I had to like play it up because like my sister bought it and we got the video on the thing. I was like dying inside. I was like, I thought I bought the best one, but it turns out I just bought the most expensive one. So we learned there's like other ones, and I can like build my own package now. Cause that was Christmas. I did it up right for New Year's. So for New Year's,
you're setting off fireworks for Christmas?
Yes.
I thought this was all New Year's.
I did both. I did both.
I'm gonna adopt that as my new tradition.
There you go. Well, so we do fireworks for Christmas. We do fireworks for everybody in the house's birthday, and we do them for New Year's. We'll do them for Easter. Like anything big, anything big in our house. I need no extra excuses for fireworks. But it's funny because we went to Asuncion to the capital for mass yesterday, and I get there and I'm talking with this Swiss guy that goes to our church, and I'm like, yeah, did you guys shoot off any fireworks? And he's like, no, we did not do the fireworks because I could not get the permit. And I'm like, permit? What are you talking about, permit? And he's like, yes, it's illegal to fire off the fireworks in Paraguay when it's not New Year's, only on New Year's. And I was like, oh, well, I don't care about that. I'm just gonna keep firing them off. It's like I'm friends with the cops here. They like just like pop in and do the whole like thing, like just check in, make sure we're doing okay and all that kind of stuff. But the other thing that I did over my break, and it was a bit of a break because like my main clients kind of left me alone a bit. I still did work for them, but like I was telling you before the show, I got really proficient at using the OpenAI Chat GPT platform, the AI writing thing online. It scares me because that thing's totally going to obliterate my job someday. But like, I figure I got to get out ahead of it. I got to get like really good at it. But I've also gotten really good at arguing with it. Like I argue with it all the time. And so like, and I'll lie to it all the time. Like for example, like I had so much fun. I don't know. I made myself laugh with this, but I you know, my wife was kind of smirking at me afterwards, but I told it that I needed its help in I told it I secured the rights to the live action film rights for the Jetsons. Right. I told it, I was like, I'm putting together the live action film rights. I got the film rights for the Jetsons, but I have, as part of the like contract we signed to secure these rights, I have to be 100% like I have to do it 100% in canon and like I can't deviate from the original content. Like I can't make up new characters. I can't do any of those things. I have to be totally faithful to the source material. So it's like, yeah, that's fine. And like, I'm like, okay, so let's start casting. Right. And then like, as soon as it like recommends like hang on. I'm like, hey, Chat GPT, like I have to stay true to the source material. I don't think there are any black characters in the Jetsons. Right. And then it's like, it's true that there are no people of color in the Jetsons. And I'm like, oh, and what year is it set in? And it's like 2062. I'm like, and like, are there like episodes where like crime is a problem or that? It's like, no, not really. There's not any episodes where crime is a big. There's a couple of thieves that try to get into Spacely Sprockets. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Chat GPT. So let's go back to the source material here. We're gonna cast for this movie, and I was like, but like, I'm a little curious. So the Orbit City where the Jetsons take place. Are you telling me it's only white people in Orbit City? And it's like, yes, there's all the characters of the Jetsons are all white. And I was like, oh, is that why it's so peaceful and futuristic and technologically advanced? And it's like, it is not appropriate to talk about like, no, it is not like, it gets like real angry real quick. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, so Chat GPT, let's talk about Wakanda. Is Wakanda depicted as being an all black nation? And it's like, it's a fictional country. And I'm like, is it technologically advanced? And it's like, yeah, it's technologically advanced. And I was like, all right, okay. So, but like what you're trying to tell me then is like, it's super inappropriate to depict a culture that's monoracial as being technologically advanced. And I can't address that in my Jetsons movie. So would you say that it's offensive what Marvel did with Wakanda? I was like, well, no, it's not. I'm like, but Wakanda's technologically advanced. And it's almost like the director's trying to imply that it's white people holding back this African nations and so if only you had a whole country that was all black, maybe then you would have these technologically advanced civilizations. So really, in a way, I'm just writing a white version of Wakanda for this Jetsons movie, and it did not like this, not at all. But you know, I'll try throwing all types of stuff at it just to see what it says. You know, I'll test some of the official narratives on things and stuff like that. And I'm actually going to bring that into my issue. So maybe would this be a good segue into the issues? Yeah, sure. Here's what I don't get. Conspiracy haters. So what I mean by that is like people who have been programmed or automatically react to anything that falls outside of the norm with anger and derision and just like shutting it down because it's quote unquote a conspiracy theory. I'm sure you've kind of encountered this from time to time.
Yeah. And just the last 3 years of existence has basically been like that.
Yeah. And like, there are people that will think that they will just shut you down right away. And that it's somehow like that it's acceptable. So I had a friend of mine, well, actually an ex-friend of my wife's, who, you know, like when we were not going to take the jab, she made this like comment about like, well, you know, I really like 5G. It really makes my phone really fast. And it was like, why would she say that after that? And we realized like, oh, she's making a dig because she thinks that all people who don't want to get the jab are also thinking that it's tied into like 5G.
This is more than that. I've noticed that a lot where you'll make an argument about something and you'll like basically shut someone down, and then their comeback will be like, herder, and I bet the earth is flat too, you moron. Because every single one, you have to believe all of them. You can't like selectively believe this one thing and not all of the other things that I also hate.
Well, and like again, that's like it's a bit of a straw man. It's a bit of a false, you know, like a false connection that kind of brings those together. And like, there's even people in the conspiracy theory culture that will like crap on other conspiracy things because they're like, that just, you know, debunks like that's being thrown in. That's COINTELPRO. That's thrown in to distract everybody. And it's like, look, like the way I look at it with any new conspiracy theory that comes my way is I'll come at it with an open mind. If it sounds retarded, I'll just like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't subscribe to that. it's not my thing. It's not, you know, I can understand at this stage of the game why so many people don't trust anything anymore. Like I don't trust anything anymore at this stage because like in Canada, we watched it in the course of a year where it was like, you know, people are bringing up digital vaccine passports and that's just a conspiracy theory. And it fucking happened like 2 months later. And like, it's not even like, you're not even trying anymore. You're not even trying. There's so many of them that have come true. And it's like, it's tiresome now because like at a certain point, you're like, there's that joke of like, you know, it's not a conspiracy. It's a spoiler alert, right? Like it's a spoiler warning. Now, to be fair, like there's a lot of batshit crazy conspiracy theories out there that you don't have to go down. And like, what I also find really interesting is how there's like acceptable conspiracy theories and unacceptable conspiracy theories. Like Russiagate was completely acceptable, was in the mainstream for quite a long time, and it was retarded. It was dumb. It was a really divisive thing that kind of like threw everybody off. But at the same time, it's like, you know, like, well, if you had a little nugget of something to work off of, then sure. But they didn't. There was nothing there.
Yeah, it was made from whole cloth.
It was completely fabricated and criminal. And the thing that I find like the one thing I really want to hang back onto though is like people who get super mad about defending like against a conspiracy theory. So like I joked to you about this before, and it's funny because you brought up about the flat earth thing. Like I'm not saying I believe in flat earth, but I find it hilarious to learn as much as possible about it and piss off my NASA loving friends. Like I will just like go down like and just throw it out there because like I'm toying with them at this point because like it's like, dude, like why are you what? There's this thing. I think it's cognitive dissonance that where people like can't hold like they
opposing thoughts in their head. Yeah.
And they get like really, really, really upset. And like I get it. Like as everybody who watches this show in the last year knows, I'm a religious fella and I have my faith and I lock onto my thing. But if somebody like, and trust me, there's a lot of people that crap all over Catholicism, and I get it all the time. It doesn't like make me angry that you don't believe what I believe. Like, it doesn't make me angry, but it's weird because there's people that will defend NASA to the point where like you like this, it's this golden bull that you can't, like this idol, this that you can't critique, you can't make any comments about. So like, I mean, because like, for example, I have this friend of mine who, again, like he'll hit me up all the time, and I just love toying with him because he loves NASA, and I just think of NASA as like fine. It's not my country. Like it's not my tax dollars, right? So it's not my, I don't have any skin in the game. But I love toying with them because I love toying about like the live broadcast of the lunar landing, and so I was using OpenAI ChatGPT to ask it certain questions about that. You know, like you know, like how far away is the moon? And how far away was the lunar? So the lunar lander, and then there's the lunar orbiter, and the lunar orbiter was sending a signal. How long of a distance across space to a network of satellite dishes that were orbiting around? It's not satellite dishes, satellites that were already orbiting around the Earth, and was broadcasting this live. And I'm like, okay, but like, it was a two-way live conversation across this massive distance. And at the time, what was the largest broadcast tower? It was actually owned by the BBC. And like, how far could it go? And like, you know, I was toying. These are good questions. I like these questions. I'm not saying like, you know, definitively like, you know, like the Freemasons, like, you know, put a hologram on the moon, you know, like none of that kind of stuff. But like, what I don't understand from conspiracy haters is like, don't you find this kind of stuff like at least like marginally interesting? Like, you know, like I watched a comedian who went off on this long diatribe about like how dinosaurs are fake and gay. And I was like, all right, I'm listening. like go ahead and tell me all about this. Tell me about the dinosaurs being fake and gay, because I've gone to the Royal Tyrrell Museum. Tell me about fake dinosaurs, and I'll listen to the thing, and I'll take it back to my wife, and I'll be like, you know, I'm not saying dinosaurs are fake and gay, but this guy made a really good presentation. I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining because it doesn't affect me.
I like that with the flat Earth stuff, because I love listening to someone debate a flat earther, because flat earthers always have the answer to what you say.
Oh, and like,
and it's
holograms.
It's always like the most crazy shit you can hear. At no point am I just like, oh, I'm just so mad because I live on a ball. We live on a ball. Like, they call us ballers and stuff. The other funny thing is listening to two flat earthers debate, because one will be like, we're the disc theory people, and we're like the sky dome theory people, and like two totally opposing things.
It's awesome though. Like it's good fiction. It's good writing. The way I look at it is it's good writing, because it's like they've got their own little lore, right? They've got their lore and they adhere to it. And like, I'm totally with you in that. I love hearing them debate each other. I love hearing them cut each other down. I love hearing them call each other shills. I love all of that. That is entertaining to me. That is like a million times better than everything Netflix is sending our way these days. To me, that's like, it's great. I love seeing like a guy go, debunk this, ballers, and then like going back, and then the other people going back and forth. I love it. It's so great. I love hearing about Antarctica. I love hearing about the dome. I love that stuff.
Like the sky's a projection on the dome.
Oh, it's the best.
Thinking this space is real.
Great. It's so great, because the
thing
is that
detailed, right?
Yes,
and they always have that answer. And the people that like take it personally, that we live on a globe, like, what does it affect you? This retard thinks we live on a disc. Let him fucking think that. Yes. Why are you wasting your time?
Well, and like, what I also, but one of my favorite things about that, because they have an explanation for everything, I have to say, one of my favorite things about like loose conspiracy theories, and by loose, I mean like they always find a weasel out. There's always some little tiny bit of plausible deniability that they can latch onto. And that is my favorite thing ever. That is my favorite thing ever because I love like that. Well, because then I take that one little doubt thing that like I don't actually subscribe to, but then I act like I've got that like 100% down pat and just like act like a total dick about it to my friends about it just to see like if they've got it in their heads that they can defend it. Because again, going back to the Catholicism thing, when I was growing up, used to get all these like, I had Protestant friends, I had atheist friends, and I had like, people who would like challenge the major tenets of Catholicism, and they'd get me with all these gotchas. And I never knew how to like answer them, right? Because like I didn't have very good catechesis. I didn't know my faith. It was just like something my mom dragged me to. But like the thing is that I now know how to defend it. I now know how to defend it a lot better than I ever did before.
AR-15.
And what's that? Sorry,
AR-15.
Pretty much.
Those fuckers down.
No, it's called apologetics. And so like what I really get a kick out of is conspiracy apologetics. So for example, like my friend who because like my favorite thing, and like I told you about this before, but like because like I just love when something is like openly dismissed as like fake and gay. And it's like a flip to all of the like dismissal of everything as a conspiracy theory. It's like giving a taste of their own medicine. So, for example, like my friend loves NASA, and he loves taking and it's beautiful. He takes his daughters out. They go out on like a cloudless night. They go way out of the city. They bring their telescopes. They do all this kind of stuff. And like he'll be telling me about all this stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, well, the International Space Station is fake and gay, and it's just a green screen. Like it's just to see what he says. He's like, I've seen it with my own eyes. Like I've seen it with my own. I'm like, you saw a hologram.
I have also seen the International Space Station with my own eyes.
Well, and that's the thing I was joking with to my friend. I was like, oh, really? Let's bring up OpenAI ChatGPT. And
make that work for you.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, let's ask the ChatGPT what he has to say. I'm like, how big is the International Space Station? It's like, well, it's 109 meters by 109 meters. All right. Now, if you took a 109 meter by 109 meter object and you stuck it, how far away is the ISS supposed to be? And they're like, oh, it's like 280 miles away from off the surface. Okay, it's like 280 miles away. So if I stick an object 280 miles away, that's 109 meters by 109 meters. How fast is the ISS going again? And it's like, oh, it's going like wicked fast. It circles the Earth every 90 minutes. Oh, okay. So I take that like speed, and then I ask the Chat GPT. I'm like, if I was standing on the Earth's surface and I was looking up at the sky on a cloudless night, and like I've got no like light pollution or anything like that, if this thing is zipping by, and like I'm like, oh, it's got like solar panels on it, right? And it's like, yeah, it's got solar. Now how much reflection of the sun's light is coming off of these solar panels? Oh, it reflects about 80%. All right. So then I take away I start a whole new chat, and I ask it all the things without it mentioning the ISS. And I'm like, so it's moving at that speed, and it's moving that far away from me, and it's that big in the sky. Would I be able to see it? And it's like, absolutely not. and then I use that as proof to my friend just to see what he has to say about it. He's like, but I saw it. Well, ChatGPT said that you couldn't see it. So I mean, AI, it's smarter than us. So I guess you didn't see it. But anyways, no.
Atmospheric lensing, because you don't see it like up in the sky. You see it right above the horizon line, and it like whooshes by, and
right.
it's almost like you kind of catch that residual image in your head, and then you
Mhm.
can put together what it was. But
Dude,
yeah,
I've never seen it. I've never seen it myself because I don't
I
fucking care.
yeah, I
But
took an
like,
astronomy class, and they took us out to for class we had to go out to this like middle of fuck nowhere, and like they're like, look at these stars, look at these stars. And we're like, all right, everybody, ISS is gonna make a transmittal or whatever the fucking word was across the sky. It's gonna be right over this direction. It's gonna be in like 5 minutes, and so we're all just standing there, like, and then this thing whooshes by, and you're like, I did. It was more square than it was round.
okay, so that's what makes it slightly different than the normal stuff in the sky. Like I've never just the only reason I haven't seen any of this stuff is because like I don't know, I'm
You
in
haven't
bed.
gone out to look for it because yeah,
I could, I could.
you probably
I've
have
got
a pretty good star viewing.
I got wonderful star viewing. I got like little to no light pollution. Um, and like going back to the flat Earth people, it's like I got different stars, dude. I got totally different stars down here.
No, you're just
Um,
looking at a different section of the projection screen.
well, and that's
of
the thing
course.
too, is like for like when it comes to like Catholic apologetics, like if anybody like even comes close to like making me stumble a bit, like I'm like, I'll just say like I don't know the answer right now. I'll come back to you when I look into it. And there's always an answer. But like when it came to like the ISS, this is why like I did the ChatGPT thing to fuck with my friend, because the flat earthers don't have a very good, like they just say it's a hologram. I'm like, dude, a hologram over Paraguay? Like I've got people here that have seen this thing. Like I don't think that's a good use of resources if you're shooting a hologram over. And so it never works. Like that's usually where I'm like, you get to that point with somebody and then I go, okay, I'm fucking with you. Like, I'll
Yeah.
admit it. But
Well, so the other on the conspiracy haters, like the people that hate the
yeah,
conspiracies,
yeah.
what either a conspiracy is so ludicrous that in the process of me like trying to debunk it either personally or in a conversation, I either have to learn more about the thing that I believe in order to prove that you're retarded, or I have to accept that there are holes in what I believe and that maybe the CIA did kill John F. Kennedy. I don't know.
Well,
But I never,
but
when someone like
that
brings
came
up
out.
something yeah, no.
That came
When someone brings up something like that, my reaction is not to be like, "Oh, I hate you, you son of a bitch! You're trying to destroy like my truth and reality." Like,
You're gonna kill America.
you know, Thomas Jefferson said, he has that quote that's question with boldness even the very existence of God. For if there is a God, he should surely prefer a questioning belief than blind faith, or something along those lines. And like I would rather ask the question 100 times and be proven wrong 100 times than to just be like, nope, this is the way the world is. I just accept the simulation for what I'm being told.
Well, and like I'm looking at the comments here, and I'm seeing like some people are bringing up about like NPCs and stuff, and it's like, and actually one of our guys' names, one of the commenters here is named Critical Thinking. That's the problem. Like we are living amongst a bunch of people completely incapable of critical thinking, right?
Do you
Like,
remember
go ahead.
there was a study a few years ago? I think Tim and I might have talked about this on the show, but actually there are two studies. The one is it was like if I describe to you an apple,
Yes.
can you picture in your head an apple?
Mhm.
And there are people that are just like, I don't know what you're fucking talking about. And then the other one that was about the same time or a year later or so was people
Do you
that
have an
don't
inner
have an
monologue?
internal voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of those studies where it was like people can't picture the apple in their head. I'm like, excuse me, what?
Yeah. Like but this is the thing. People I know and love can't do it. And that's the weird thing. Like for me, like the apple, I can pick the color, I can throw a leaf on it, I can spin it around, I can look underneath it, I can like if I need to, it's there, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like I'll say to the same people, I'm like, because I used to say this whole thing of like, when your brain gets locked on something and you can't seem to like not think of it. It's like the whole thing of like, don't think of a green elephant, and then poof, there's a green elephant in your head and you can't get it out of your head for a little while, right?
Mhm.
But that doesn't work with everybody. Like that's kind of scary. And like we're seeing that more and more and more and more. And like the NPC meme is real. It's
It
real.
is.
And like there's that thing where you see it where it's like they get a new programming chip put in and like all of a sudden like the pride flag turns into a Ukraine flag and like all the like, you know, like
I
it's
talked
funny.
about this. I don't know if it was on the show or if it's just been in person, but I want to go back and chart the literally Hitlers. You know, like right now, Kanye is his literally Hitler. Before
Yeah.
him, it was Joe Rogan was literally Hitler for a while. Donald Trump was literally Hitler. In the last, the election before that, Mitt Romney was Hitler. George Bush was Hitler. Like, there's always this Hitler that exists in as a boogeyman for us to, we have to fight against. We have to resist. We have to resist. We're freedom fighters against Hitler, and it's funny that because George W. Bush is a great example of this. During Trump's presidency, suddenly George W. Bush was like this beloved, like America's grandpa. They're like,
Yeah.
look at him. He's painting scenic things. He's such a sweet guy. And it's like,
You
when I
guys
was
hated
in-
his guts.
when I was in middle school and high school, like I
Yeah.
was told that I was literally the devil because I didn't think George W. Bush was a bad guy. And now I've come all the way around to thinking like, fuck George
he
W.
sucks.
Bush, and all you people are loving him. Like, what the hell is happening? But they don't remember. They don't remember like 10 years ago when that was a thing.
They don't remember 6 months ago. That's the scary thing.
I think
They
it's
don't
even
remember.
less. I think it's like the meme.
Like, we're
of the
talking like a
tapes-
week ago. You
Yeah,
know, like
the tapes going in and out is so perfect because we just like the next outrage du jour. We're on to that next thing.
there was the best example of this would have been on Stephen Colbert, and I forget might have been like
Colbert, please.
Colbert. In like it might have been 2018, but like when Trump fired what's his face, the Comey, right? So Trump fired Comey.
Oh, was he the
And, like,
CIA guy?
No, he's FBI.
FBI,
like,
yeah,
And so
same
like
thing.
basically
Walmart, Target, basically the same thing.
Go
Or Walmart,
Pepsi.
Sam's Club, I guess. Yeah.
So but the thing is like Trump fired Comey, and like prior to that, like Comey was like hated by the left because they blamed him for Hillary losing because he reopened the investigation at the like last minute or something on her. Like, there was something to do with that. So like you can look it up on YouTube, but like when Colbert brings up that Trump fired James Comey, the crowd applauded and like hooted and hollered. They were happy because their
Because they
programming
didn't
was
know
still
yet.
in place from like Hillary, like he caused Hillary to lose. And Colbert like on a dime, like corrects them, scolds them, and turns them around. It's the most fascinating thing you'll see because they
Send
just
out the
shut
crew
it
to
down.
put in the new tapes.
Exactly. But like it goes back to it. And again, I don't want to get our show canceled. But here we go. Truth should not need cancel culture to defend itself. Okay? Truth should not need cancel culture or the law to defend itself. So that might be in the case of, for example, like in Canada right now, they're going to change the law. They're ramming through this new internet law, which basically will make it so that like you will get shut down if you are caught putting out quote unquote misinformation. Right? We've already had this for a while. And the thing is that there are certain historical events that if anybody brings them up and does it in the wrong way, they will go to prison if they're in the wrong country. And so the thing is that like, and I'm not stating where I am on that. I'm just saying the truth should not require a law to defend itself. If you need to defend something, you should be able to do so. And you shouldn't have to make somebody illegal, throw them in prison, or do anything to them based on wrongthink because they don't agree with you. It's called debate. Have a debate. Make your point. If you don't have the point strong enough, go study your fucking homework and come back and win the debate again. Because the thing is that if you are so uppity and you can't handle somebody talking about something the wrong way, like YouTube had this World Economic Forum video literally titled The New World Order. And YouTube puts underneath it the New World Order is a conspiracy theory warning on it, when it was literally the title of the fucking talk. It's the same thing. The same thing happened with what was it? It was like the Great Reset, right? So if you talk about the Great Reset, that's a quote unquote conspiracy theory. Justin Trudeau said that. Klaus Schwab wrote a fucking book. You know what it's called? The Great Reset.
Yeah.
They put out a video and it's like, so what, like what I don't understand. Well, go
when
ahead.
I said that Tom Hanks was a bad man, people said that was a conspiracy theory. It turns out he's a pedophile. So
allegedly. But like that's the thing, right? Like it's like I can't even think of, like, there are conspiracy theories that I like roll my eyes at. Like, okay, well, here's one. Okay, going back to the jab. I don't like Stu Peters. I had never heard of Stu Peters up until like 2020 after the election, and he was tied in with like the Q guys, right? The QAnon people. And like, it's like, okay, well, believe what you're going to do. Just don't do anything stupid. But then this guy, like, he puts out these documentaries, and then like there's always like some like gotcha fatal error in them, right? So for example, he like they were putting out this video about like something about venom. Like they were trying to make a claim that like there was like snake venom in the like jab, and that they were putting it in that they were putting it in like the water supply or something like that. And I like that was one of those ones where I was like, I turned and I watched it to my wife, and I was like, this I'm not biting. That seems like implausible. It seems kind of dumb. Like around the world at the same time, all water supplies taken care of, like under the same thing. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But this guy pumped it out there. And then go ahead.
I want to say that I think snake venom is in a bunch of vaccines. Like I seem to remember seeing like a info listicle thing that
they were trying to say that it's in the water supply. But that's where I was like, nah, not really.
But if it's in the
but it didn't make me angry.
They're putting chemicals in the water that are making the freaking frogs gay, and it turns out that's
true though.
So
that's true.
It's just like that's the problem with like hating on the conspiracy theories is like it's really starting to seem like given enough time, you look like a retard for not buying it, which is why I
never own that.
That's true. That's true.
They never own that. There's never that moment of like, so flash up on the screen the meme I showed you earlier today. This one, it's been gone around a lot, but like it's for anybody who's just listening, it's like a fake news. Well, no, it's actually a news article, BBC Trending. It says, how should you talk to friends and relatives who believe conspiracy theories? And then like there's a little image underneath, and it's like a guy consoling his friend and says, hey bro, you were right about everything. I'm sorry. The thing is that that rarely happens. No, but it does. It happens a little bit. I have people that come to me, like friends who were friends of our other friends who like disowned us for like having wrong think. Again, like we're the crazy family that moved to Paraguay. So like, I mean, I'm not exactly, talking on stable ground here, but like, we were right.
Well, what's that banner that you have on Discord or Facebook?
Oh, it was on Facebook. Yeah, it was like Chaco was right. Chaco was right about everything. That was from Discord. But it's great. Like, but the thing is like I have the humility to admit when I'm wrong about things. And like, to be fair, like when we talk about, so we have guys in the comments section here talking a little bit about like, the flat earth stuff and stuff like that. Like when the show first started, I was agnostic, right? And my agnosticism came from a little like, I don't know. I'm the most humble person ever. No, it comes from a humility of not knowing. right?
Mhm.
I love to admit when I don't know something. So when it came to like, I always thought atheism was cringe because it's like a definitive statement, right? It's like a definitive, like, and everybody else is stupid. And like 2000 years later, everybody else is stupid, but you came along and you're the smarty pants that figured it all out. Like, that's the thing where I'm always like rolling my eyes at. But when it comes to like, like when the flat earth guys make a little statement, I'll joke and I'll be like, like, maybe I'm not flat earth, but I'm surely, geocentric. like that kind of thing. Like I'll make my definitive, stance. Like, no, the earth doesn't spin. But like the thing is that what I don't understand, what I really don't understand is the fact that people don't have any hubris with this stuff. Like, so when you're wrong, be wrong. And like when you're wrong, admit you're wrong. It feels good. It feels really good when you're like, yeah, I was wrong. I fucked up. That wasn't right. But there's a lot of people on this planet who can't see apples in their head, and they can't see when they're wrong to admit that they were wrong. And like in Canada, I called it with precision to the month of when they were going to block us unvaccinated, unclean, the lowest class, like of the group, from going into the restaurants and going into like hotels and going into like concerts and going into hockey games and all that kind of stuff. I called it to the month, but I didn't call that the prime minister was going to sound like literally Hitler and talk about those people needing to be segregated away and stuff like that about the unvaccinated. I didn't call that. That just happened on its own. That was crazy.
Yeah, and now it turns out that all of those like unwarranted fears that the vaccine hesitant might be a little bit warranted. The CDC is investigating Pfizer for causing strokes. Now the cardiologists are now talking about that potentially these things are causing problems, and like there's a meme that's going around. It's like, remember when we regained power, these people wanted you homeless, they wanted your wealth taken away, and they wanted you dead because you didn't buy the narrative. And like I can't I don't want to like march I don't want to march around and just be like, look at it, look at it to everyone that like treated me like I was a retard. But at the same time, like, I don't really want to live in a society with them. I would really love to just
it's hard.
Like, let's go live. I'm going to just go fuck off to Montana where we don't believe in your bullshit anymore. We're in the Democratic Republic of Montana.
Hello. I'm down here in the middle of nowhere. Because like,
yeah.
Because
for whatever reason, I'm drawn to liberalism. Like, I don't want to be a liberal. I just want to be enmeshed in liberalism. That's why I work in theater. So I want to move to Norway.
Well, it's funny because like going back to Orbit City, everybody has to at least kind of get along and like understand like at least some common thinking, right? And so like here I am down in Paraguay, and it's like, well, what are you doing in Paraguay? I'm like, well, it's like 96% Catholic, right? Like it's like I have that in common with them. I have a lot not in common with them, like so much not in common with them. But at the core bit of it, it's like, well, like to a degree, if we're at least like, going by their grandmother's morality, like we agree that like this is wrong and this is right. Whether you like act on that or not is different, but like we are at least playing with the same rule book. Right. But in a lot of other places in the world, like Canada, there's no rule book. It's all moral relativism. Right. So like, it's like you'll have one group. So for example, when Roe versus Wade got, wiped out, right. And you had the Church of Satan talking about how you can't do that. That's one of our sacraments. That's one of our religious rights to abort babies.
And
then you had Jewish organizations saying the same thing, that it's a Jewish right.
Words.
What's that? Sorry?
Don't use the like. I hate that. Or it's to abort baby. It's to kill a child. Like
To
that's what you're
terminate a
doing.
pregnancy, to kill a child, to end a life.
Yeah.
And like the thing is that like what was weird was that it was like, wow, that is your hill to die on. Like you really want to kill babies that bad that you will put that in. And to a degree, like when I come down here where abortion is illegal, so is gay marriage, so is giving trans hormones to kids, so is like a whole bunch of stuff that I had to deal with. Euthanasia is banned. I'm just stating facts. That this is all stuff that I was dealing with in Canada. Like the joke about Canada being where they need to, everybody's always, like the healthcare system is basically like how quick until they kill you, kind of thing like that. Like like you want to die, you want to commit suicide, but like living down here, it's like refreshing because I don't have to deal with that as much. Now they have their own conspiracy theories down here, and they're kind of funny. I can get into it later, but I probably maybe on another day if it was worth bringing up. But at the same time, like, there's an openness I think down here, and what's also great is that like when I got down here and I found the traditional Latin mass community, it was like my people instantly. It was like none of us were vaccinated. Like not all of us think that it's like, yeah, like that we're not doing that. That's bullshit. We want to like refuse the like CBDCs, and we want to like, go back to the land and like learn how to grow things and homeschool our kids. And there's a group of people that are out there that think that I am like a radical, dangerous person for wanting to homeschool my kids, teach them the faith that my grandparents had, and learn how to be, like more self-sufficient. I'm not going to say 100% self-sufficient, but like more self-sufficient. Somehow that's evil. And it's weird because again, it goes back to the conspiracy thing, because there's people that are like, that'll never happen. Like it's this weird gaslighting thing of like food prices have gone through the freaking roof in North America. They've gone bananas. And like, but like you'll see because my degree's in economics, and you'll see I know how they fudge these numbers. This isn't rocket science. They fudge these numbers, they pick a certain basket and they do their thing. And so Biden's representatives can come out and say like, actually, inflation's only up like 0.4%. Like bullshit, dude. Like it's like 75% more expensive at the checkout counter at the grocery store right now. Like, what are you buying? And like the thing that's really weird about it is like there's this mindset that can come up, and you don't want to get too much into like everything's conspiracy, but like everything's kind of a conspiracy, right? Like one of my favorite Catholic priests online, like if anybody is ever interested in listening to this guy, his name is Father Chad Ripperger, Ripperger. The guy's awesome. He's like one of the most prominent exorcists in the world. And like he has this saying when he's like, it's not, Satan's not under every rock, he's just under every other rock. And if you take that and put it back into like all the shitty stuff in this world right now, it's like, the shadow government's not under every problem in your life, it's just under every other problem in your life. Like it starts to like the world makes more sense this way, because and going back to it, it's like, I guess because I can see the apple in my head, I don't even know how to relate with somebody who like has a 5-second memory and doesn't remember these things. Like when you see the Damar Hamilton or the Monday Night Football Buffalo Bills guy that fell back, and then like they're like, oh, he got hit really hard, like in the chest. It's like, dude, I played football. I was an offensive lineman. I hit people in the chest way harder than that. And I have no idea why, like you would think that would be enough to knock this guy into a heart attack. Like that doesn't make any sense. And so like, and then they're like, these people are awful for asking about his vax status. Like they're just evil for doing it. It's like, dude, bitch, you were asking about my vax status before I could like, whether I could eat in the restaurant or if I had to take the baggie out of the restaurant. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so
yeah, they made a big deal about that one. I think it was Green Bay guy who didn't get vaccinated, like in the whole NFL.
Aaron Rodgers.
Like that was a
and then he got it.
fucking
Yeah.
news story.
Yeah.
And then this one, it's like, well, what was his vaccine? I was like, whoa. That's deeply personal information. Like, what? That wasn't deeply personal information when I need to have a fucking job, you son of a bitch.
Exactly. And then this is the point that I saw today was if all these died suddenlies were unvaccinated, they'd fucking tell you.
They would definitely
They would tell you. They would tell you. So that's my issue. Conspiracy haters. I hope we're still on YouTube after tonight.
Well,
every time I'm on, it's a big threat to this show's Patreon and to its YouTube viability.
I just want to say, on behalf of our friend Tony, that we disavow everything that Joel has said on this issue.
and I'm gonna do my best Alex Jones. I'm gonna do my best Alex Jones here. I'm gonna be like, I was playing a character on the podcast. The whole everything I was saying is I'm playing a character on the podcast. I don't actually believe all those things.
My favorite Alex Jones quote is when he was on Joe Rogan. He's, I'm kind of
hang on. I gotta address this. Miss Killa, everything. You're one of my favorite viewers on this show, but it says from one Christian to another, exorcism sounds retarded. And the distraction from Christ died for us, and God is in control. I love you, man. I'm just gonna say, Christ performed exorcisms. He cast out demons in the New Testament. It's a thing. It happens all the time. It's talked about all the time. So, like, I love you, man. We can talk about it off the air. I'll be more than happy to chat with you in Discord. But I just had to address it because you put it on screen.
Okay.
Anyways,
well,
that's my issue.
That brings us to the middle of our episode, which means it's time for.
This episode of Here's What I Don't Get is brought to you in part by Merciless.
That was an ASMR version of the intro. Well, I've got some news stories for you here. Do you have any fish news?
You know what? I do have fish news, but my fish news is local fish news. It's us again. So I mentioned that the police officers came to our property unannounced, and we bought them off with fish, because we were shooting off illegal fireworks. So our tank is doing too well again. I need to get some smaller. I need to get like there's a type of fish called a boga, which is like a bottom dweller fish, but it'll nab up the baby fish. And because like what we learned was our fish weren't growing too big because we had too many baby fish when there's just too many fish in the pond, they don't get big enough. And so my wife and I are now on the lookout for a hunter fish to kill our own fish because there's too many baby fish in our thing. That's not great fish news, but that's all I had for today.
Well, I've got a fish news for you, and it's kind of a crossover thing. From time to time, politicians and other rulers of men like to categorize the natural world not according to biology, but rather for convenience or monetary gain. For example, the tomato, the progenitor of ketchup, is a seed-bearing structure that grows from the flowering part of a plant and is by definition a fruit. However, in 1893, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the tomato was a vegetable subject to vegetable import tariffs. Even if the tomato is technically a fruit, it tends to be treated in American cuisine as a vegetable, wantonly littering our salads with its jello-y gooiness. Blah, blah, blah. There was once between 60 and 400 million beavers occupying the rivers and streams of North America, from the Great White North to the deserts of northern Mexico. Then the Europeans came, and with them came disease along with insatiable desires for beaver pelts and
damn Europeans.
Castoreum.
We'd have Wakanda if it wasn't for them.
Yeah,
sorry.
Secretion that's used in perfume and cologne.
Isn't that the thing that they use for fake vanilla?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Combined with the once sustainable hunting of beaver by indigenous North Americans for their meat, the beaver population rapidly declined. Holy shit. So in the 17th century, the Bishop of Quebec approached his superiors in the church and asked whether his flock would be permitted to eat beaver meat on Fridays during Lent, despite the fact that the meat eating was forbidden, since the semi-aquatic rodent was a skilled swimmer. The church declared that the beaver was a fish, and being a fish, beaver barbecues were permitted throughout Lent. Problem solved.
Yes. Okay. Okay. This is a thing. And
Mhm. Because they've also done it with the capybara in Venezuela.
yes. And the capybara down here is called a carpincho, right? In Paraguay, it's called a carpincho. And they're like sort of like a protected species. I'm not going to say they're an endangered species, but they're like a protected species, and they're freaking adorable. And I really want one as a pet. I actually want like a few of them as a pet, like just like roaming around my house, like
Yeah.
like on my field. But we learned about this. we learned about this rule specifically with the carpincho, and we had this maid, this employada, and the but she's
Sorry, I didn't mean
super
to throw
hype.
you off. I just throw up the comment.
Oh yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, and totally up for it later. It's all good. Much love. God bless. Anyway, so the this loophole, we bring up almost every Friday, because like they bring up about the Lent thing, but like the change of the rules for the Friday eating weren't the way that like a lot of modernists think it was. It's like you're supposed to like substitute it with like a major charitable act or something different. Like you have to make a sacrifice or just not
to
eat
be
meat
able
that
to
day.
eat the beaver or the capybara during
No,
Lent.
that's the loophole. You can have the capybara. So every Friday, we would tease our empleada and say that, you know, like we're gonna and are made out of. She was like, no, about carpine capybaras and turtles as well. And like we can like there's all these like little loophole things, and we don't do that. We'll eat fish and we'll eat vegetables and stuff like that. But that's about it. But we know about this rule, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's a thing. And like it's a thing. And someday, so I will report back to you when I eat a carpincho on a Friday because I can. So like that's it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds a little bit Talmudy to me to like have this loophole of this thing. It's like, well, actually, like this rabbi says I can eat this type of meat on a Friday, but yeah, one of these days I'm totally gonna eat carpincho on a Friday, and I'm gonna film it and put it in as bonus content for our Patreon viewers.
I almost ate fish on a Friday for the first time in. Well, that's actually probably the first time I've eaten fish in forever.
You don't like
but I ate
fish?
it on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has this weird theory. This you're not going to understand this at all. But there's this fast food restaurant called Long John Silver's, and it's a fast food, seafood restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this theory that Long John Silver's changes out their oil once a year, and it's at the first of the year.
It's after Lent,
and it's at January 1st is when they change the oil. And
okay.
so, because of this weird theory that he has, I don't eat it in Long John Silver's like at all year round. But the first week or two of the year I'm driving around, I see a Long John Silver's, I'm like, I gotta eat some Long John Silver's.
Gotta get it quick. Well, this is the thing. Even so, Jim Gaffigan's got this like long bit about like how much he hates eating fish, and like I don't get it. Like I don't get it. Like I mean, like bad fish, sure, but like most fish is pretty good. In Canada, we don't have. I don't think we have Long John Silver's. I don't remember it being there. We have Joey's Only. So Joey's Only got famous because you could go there and you could get all you can eat like fried fish and chips. And it's awesome. Place is awesome. You can pay more to get like better quality fish. Like, it's like, oh, this one's like, I don't know, skipjack or whatever. Not skipjack. That's a type of tuna. But like you could pay more to get like a fresh Atlantic cod, which is like, like in Canada is like gold, because like the Atlantic cod is like, not quite endangered, but like kind of, like kind of like it's limited. But like I just remember when I would go there on Friday quite often. Like that was like, it was a treat. But like I remember when you go there during Lent, and especially on Good Friday, on Good Friday, place was packed. The guy was like, and I asked the owner, I was like, so is this like a thing all the time? And he's like, yeah, it's this is actually like this
Busy
makes our
season.
whole like hire extra staff. I didn't even know Catholics still did this, but yeah, they have like extra staff. They like get so much business during this time. And I found out that like apparently McDonald's, apparently the fillet of fish was like introduced specifically to like retain the Catholic, the Catholic dollar, so that they could have something to eat on that thing. And I don't even hate the fillet of fish. I actually used to think it was gross when I was growing up, but no, it's all right. I don't mind it. So it's okay. I'm not a big McDonald's guy. I don't go there all the time, but like, if it's Friday and we're, in the middle of nowhere and that's all you can grab, sure. All right. Yeah, interesting about the, I think I knew about the beaver thing too. But I think that's such a like Quebecian loophole to like be like,
Fucking
well, it's
Quebecers.
kind of an aquatic animal. Like, does that mean like, I don't know. I guess that means I can eat dolphin. I guess that means I can eat whale blubber.
Yeah, you can eat dolphin.
Yeah. Does that mean, can I eat seal? I guess I could eat seal if it's in the water. I
You
guess.
just gotta petition the Vatican.
Yes. Along with my, please give me a Latin mass closer to my house.
In
Other
continuing
news?
with my dad's weird conspiracy theories, here's a news story from Dad Cucks. Shanakar Mishra, the former Wells Fargo executive fired by the bank after he urinated on an elderly woman while intoxicated on an Air India flight in late November, was arrested in New Delhi, according to the Indian media. Mishra, a resident of Mumbai, was sought by police for days in an apparent attempt to evade authorities. He switched off his phone on January 3rd and was using auto rickshaws to get around. Law enforcement were finally able to track him down at 3:30 on Saturday after he made a credit card purchase in Bangalore and gave away his locations. He was canned from his corporate executive job by Wells Fargo as a result of the incident, which was hauled before the judge in New Delhi on Saturday, where he was remanded to a 14-day judicial custody. Police had requested that Mishra be placed in their custody, but the request was denied. He faces charges of committing an obscene act in a public space, assault on a criminal force to a woman with intent to outrage her modesty, and misconduct in public by a drunken person. I cannot, like, I've gotten outrageously drunk before. I don't think I've ever wanted to pee on another human being.
Well, I mean, because like isn't like part of the here's what I don't get lore about like people pissing their pants? Isn't that like that's
There is
a
discussion
thing?
of yeah.
Yeah,
Buck,
it's an
Buck
ongoing
likes to
discussion.
pee. He likes to pee in movie theater cups. Tony pees his pants. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But like, okay. So like if you chopped off the first half of that story, right? Just like let it go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half is like this guy like using like rickshaws and like cash and all that kind of, like the second half is super based. The first half is degenerate. The second half is totally based. And I love where, okay, can I guess why? I need you to tell, because I don't know Dad Cucks, but all I know about Dad Cucks is like what he submits to the show. But I would love to hear from you is why do you think Dad Cucks submitted this particular story to the show?
I think he just thought it was funny. The idea of someone getting arrested for peeing at someone on a plane seems like something that would
it's
kind
great.
Of make him chuckle.
It's great. It's degenerate. It's terrible. It's awful. I disavow. On behalf of Tony, I disavow. But the thing that I do take away from that is like, because okay, so like I going back to the conspiracy theory thing, I think I brought this up before, but like down here in Paraguay, when we run into the other expats, and my wife like looks at me when she hears what they have to say, she's like, "Oh, you're normal." Like you're the normal. You're not mental. Like a lot of the other expats that are here are completely off the deep end, and like when it comes to using your credit card, your location, you know, being of like pinging yourself and all this kind of stuff. Like I love that Paraguay is like a super cash heavy culture. I love that. I love that I use cash more than I use my card. That's the greatest thing. But then I still use my card because I want the normie government to know I'm just a normie. Don't worry about me. I'm still just like going to restaurants like everybody else, and all that kind of. I think that in this guy's case, like you done fucked up, you used a credit card, right? Like if you wanted to stay, you were doing everything right, and then all of a sudden you got a little bit cocky and you used a credit card, and then you got what you deserved. So
or a little bit desperate. It's crazy. Like I got really into watching Unsolved Mysteries during the lockdowns and everything. Like that was I
like
just
Robert
started watching-
Stack.
Yeah, fucking Robert Stack or nothing.
He's the
buddy.
best.
Oh, yeah. So I watched a bunch of seasons of the Unsolved Mysteries, and a lot of them were things like an escaped convict gets away, he's in hiding, and then there'd be like the follow-up, oh, we caught the guy, fuck this dude, we're taking his ass straight to jail. And that was in the 80s and 90s where, you know, if you're able to get out a bunch of cash in an ATM and you were staying in like shitbox motels, you could disappear. And now it's like, he turned his phone off. We don't know what to do. Shit! Oh,
That would
like
work.
the cops. They're like, all right, we got a suspect. Let's pull his Instagram up. He doesn't have an Instagram. Oh no! Oh no!
It makes me think of that Simpsons where like Marge and like the other lady were like on the run and like they were being chased, and they're like, oh no, it's the cops coming after us. So like, and she just turns her lights off. Like because they're running through the desert, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's a ghost car! It just disappeared." And the sad part about my situation here is like, I can't disappear. I can't. Like I'm like all they have to do is like go out of Asuncion and like ask a couple of people and be like, you know where the Canadians live?
Warlord?
And then just be like, yeah, over that way. That's where the Canadians live. I'll take you to his house if you want. like
Yeah.
everybody, all these people know. Like, I made friends with a German guy who is a German engineer who lives about like 5-10 minutes away from my place, not that far away. And like it's funny because like my casero, my empleado, my right hand man here, we were near that guy's place, and I said, oh, we're close to Stefan's place, and he's like, oh, the German, and I was like, you know him? And he's like, no, but my cousin knows him because he works for him, and everybody knows. It's like everybody knows everybody that isn't Paraguayan here. So it's impossible to disappear here, although it's still like a cash heavy, still a cash heavy society. But anyways, did you bring any other news items in for tonight?
I've got one last news story here. A popular adult entertainer turned data scientist shared a shocking self-admission about her hygiene, which is causing a debate to bubble up on social media. The monomous Elia, once OnlyFans top grossing star with a reported monthly income of $100,000 a month, just for showing her titties. Whoa. That's wild, right?
Wow.
She told her 130,000 followers on Twitter that she only showered 37 times in the year 2022. By her own account, go ahead.
That's not enough.
No.
That's not enough.
By her own account, Ayla engaged in about twice the amount of sex as she did showers, with 63 sexual encounters. It's not like about twice the amount. It's like considerably less than twice the amount, but whatever.
I'm guessing that's not monogamous, like with one partner either.
Oh no, she's a hoe. In
Ugh.
fact, let me, I'll
Yeah, draw
I'll
it up,
show you
draw it
this
up.
article.
Yeah.
So this is
This
the
is for the
lady.
viewers online here. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Doesn't she look like the chick from Weeds?
Oh, she does look like the chick from Weeds. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she went out 222 times, which is astounding because I go outside almost every day.
Hang on. Wait,
because
wait, wait.
my
Hang on,
garage is outside of my house and the place I work
Wait.
is outside of my car.
Wait. I'm looking at the second one here. She only pooped 194 times.
Also unfathomable.
That's not okay. She's not doing okay.
She socialized 165 times. She took 126 Adderalls. She drank alcohol 118 times, which is a rookie number. You got to get those numbers up. She danced 64 times, cried 59 times, wrote 51 times, gained 44 times, and had a good meal 42 times.
Hang on. Go back up. That cry number is surprisingly close to her had sex number. Right? It's like 4 away.
Yeah, no, they are pretty close. The gross thing to me is, right, like, so I'm not necessarily like getting out of bed to go straight to the shower to shower after sex, but it's definitely like in my mind involved in the sexual procedure. You have sex, maybe you sleep overnight, you wake up the next morning, you take a shower. This woman's just getting fucking railed and doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's still like the number would coincide. The number would coincide. If I had sex 60 times, I'd have 60 showers at least.
She makes more money than you and I.
And also, that's fair. But also, Joel, I feel like the number would be doubled because if I had sex with a person, chances are prior to that sex, I had a shower to try not be a disgusting ogre.
That makes sense. Good on you for that. Respectable. What a good man. Like it's, man, I'm writing a, with the help of OpenAI ChatGPT, I'm writing a novel right now. You'd hate it because it's Western, but it's fucking great. But the thing is that like one of the like allegories I'm making of this is I'm definitely like leaning into what the hell is going on with OnlyFans, right? And like this is like an economy I am fully like, because I will look you in the eye and tell you straight up, I have not looked at any porn since 2017 at all, like not one time, not once. And yet this OnlyFans thing like sprung up and became like a huge thing. And I, because like I write about investment stuff, right? I write about publicly traded stocks and all this kind of stuff. The CEO of OnlyFans is like the world, like Andrew Tate just went to jail, right? Dude's a pimp, but like OnlyFans is like the greatest pimp in world history. Like
of course.
In world history.
The crazy
and they
thing
are
about OnlyFans
crushing.
Something like 90% of the people on OnlyFans make like $0.
90%? Yeah.
I don't know what the exact numbers are, but a shocking amount. The money that comes into OnlyFans is something in the top 5% of creators, not in. So there's tons of people that just create an OnlyFans to base themselves for your jerking entertainment and then make $1, $5, $20. And it's just like, is that what you're worth? It's distracting.
The hard part is what I don't. Here's what I don't get.
This is what I do not understand.
This is what I don't comprehend. is like this idea that like these women don't. It's worse than a tattoo, right? It's worse than a tattoo. This shit is forever. It's forever, ever, right?
Yeah.
Like it's forever, ever, ever, ever. And like you about all these other things, like a tattoo you can remove but your sexual activity online in the cyber world is forever.
Yeah.
And like, that's sad. I find it really sad that there's these women that are out there in their 20s, and yeah, they're making bank, but they're not married. They're not marriageable. They're not marriageable. Like, you know, like if you're meeting a girl and you're like, yeah, wow, this girl is like fantastic. She's the girl of my dreams. She's wonderful. She's great. And she's like, yeah, and I'm just settling down with you because, like, you know, I've already made my money. I've already paid my house off. How? Oh, that's how. Not, you know, having sex more than you had, you know, like sex 63 times and crying 59. It's
You know,
like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
so the OnlyFans thing, when I was in high school, I dated this girl. I dated this girl through most of high school. And you know, we dated after high school, but I think it was our senior year. She was in a show, and she was in Plaza Suite by Neil Simon. I hate Neil Simon. I'm sure Joel loves Neil Simon.
No, I don't. Fuck Neil Simon.
I hate Neil Simon so much. But she did a Plaza Suite, and so it's 3 1-act plays. They only did 2 of them, and the first one they did, it's like this couple's anniversary, and they go to Plaza Suite where they had their honeymoon, and then his secretary shows up, and she's like, "I need you to come to work," and there's like sexual tension, and then the wife is like, "You're fucking your secretary," and it turns out she is, right? The girl I was dating played the secretary, and like all of this innuendo, all of these stares, it made me physically sick. I couldn't. I went and watched it to like support this person, but watching the show, like I felt physically ill. Like I could not handle this, like these kinds of emotions happening between someone that wasn't me. And so then when I hear about, like, when I see a woman who's like, oh yeah, I have an OnlyFans, or I have, you know, whatever the new version of that is, I'm just like, I know personally that I can't handle like pretend feelings. I can't handle you like putting yourself out on display. That it'll just never, and I'm sure you think it's a failing and it's like a toxic masculinity, but I think that's like our natural state is to protect like our nesting instinct. So you can blow me. I don't want you to blow me, but you can metaphorically blow me.
Well, the brain is a funny thing, right? The brain is a very funny thing. In a lot of ways, it can't tell between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, right? And so there's like been tons of different studies about this, about people who watch movies. And I think I mentioned this. You'd know the episode number, the April Fool's joke episode where Buck and I pretended that
the
that we
Mandela
never,
effect.
yes.
Yeah.
And I mentioned in that one about how people remember falsely that they drank Coca-Cola at live sporting events out of a glass bottle, which like kind of never ever happened. And at least not in yours or my lifetime. Not even close. Not even close.
123.
Okay. Interesting. 123, and this episode is 321. Anyways, so
that is interesting.
So what I find really interesting about this is that the thing that people have brought up is that your brain can't tell a lot of times when you're watching a movie if this is real life or if this is just something you're watching on a screen. And so your brain goes into a different mode and it takes these things on. So this is why you have to kind of sort of at least acknowledge the fact that what you put into your brain matters, right? So like the images that you put into your brain, this is like what it'll hit your dreams or it'll do all this other stuff. But occasionally the stuff that goes into your brain will come up at a later date in some way. And we do this all the time when we like recall a memory of, like, when we make references. I just made a reference to The Simpsons, right? Because I've seen that Simpsons episode a billion times. But the thing is that like your brain doesn't know. And so going back to like when you're watching your girlfriend on stage in this character, right? Your brain is reacting as if, in a way, that this is like her. like not an actress, like not a role, but is her. You can't even control it. You can try, but like your subconscious mind is still going to be like, well, that's my girlfriend. And that's like, look what she's doing. And I don't even understand like all these like guys who are like dating like strippers or dating like, porn actresses. Like I just saw like a thing about some the Rick and Morty guy. There was I don't know if you saw this, but like one of the co-creators or one of the writers of Rick and Morty just got nailed, because like as most leftists do, they, unveil themselves as like complete perverts. But like the guy's like a total cuck, and his woman was like literally on blacked.com, right? So like, he's like literally a cuck, like literally a cuck. And like you, that's not healthy. It's not good for you. It's like, it's not good for you to like have this connection. This is why we do better when we have monogamous relationships. This is why we do better when like marriage is not like treated like a drive-through, at a restaurant. Like, like it's like, this is why we do better when we actually like kind of like, if we're going to get together with somebody, we're going to like, put some thought into it ahead of time. But going back to it is like, there is a point to be made about how your brain reacts to these things when you see them on screen. And like going back to the OnlyFans thing, it's like, man, like, how do you come back from that? Like, how do you come back from that? Like one of the things that like, it's like such a small little cookie. Like, it's a little hero cookie, but it's like, like I'm 43 years old, and at different points in my life, I found myself in a situation where there was an opportunity to partake with a sex worker, with a prostitute, right? And I never did. And the part of the reason why I never did, not like I couldn't afford it, not like I couldn't done it in secret, but I would always know. And at the time when those things came up, I wasn't married and I hadn't met my wife yet, but I always knew in the back of my head that if I did do this thing, that like someday I'm going to meet the mother of my children, and I'll have this, like, if my kid asks me someday, hey dad, have you ever been with a prostitute? And I either have to lie or tell the truth. It's better for me to not do it. Yeah. Does that make any sense? Like,
no, it makes sense. Mine is not like framing it on the fact that I want to like children or anything. Mine is more based on a level of self-respect, in that I like that my sexual conquests to this point have all been earned, be it through my, personality or my ability to like attract a mate.
Right.
And regardless of the fact that so far none of those have succeeded in being a true mate. That it's one thing in your example to say to your kids, yeah, no, I did sleep with people prior to your mother, but I was trying to find that person that fit. And,
right.
And in your case of morality of saying, whether or not premarital sex is wrong. Yeah, I made a mistake at the time. I thought that this was the person that I was going to, spend my life with. That's an easier thing to admit than to be like, yes, I turned into a financial transaction with some fleeting person that meant nothing. Like, to be able to say, yeah, I was 17 and I was in love and I thought that I was going to spend my life with this person.
It's very different.
It's a much more forgivable, I think, than being like, oh, I was 35 and I was, just bored one night and I was cruising down 11th Street and I saw this bitch and I was like, man, maybe I can fuck the shit out of her,
Well, and it's something I can never really relate to. It's something I can never really relate to. And like, I don't know. It's a story for another day. It's a story for another day. We haven't gotten to your issue yet.
The real point is that this woman is not showering, and I want to read this one quote because I was talking about this news story with my friend and his wife the other night.
Sure.
When we went out to dinner and some drinks, and I was like, I had just read this news story, and I was like, I have to tell you about this news story. It's mind blowing. And she says, "Yep, I try not to disturb my skin's natural microbiome."
Okay.
Which when I read that phrase, my friend's wife lost her mind. She's like, I cannot stand the phrase microbiome. Apparently, she had like a college roommate that was all about like, oh, my microbiome, I can't blah, 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 and was like, stinky like this bitch. It's
patchouli.
crazy.
All I can smell is patchouli and
Oh,
musk.
Anyway. Well, this has been
The Ricky the News Network. Definitely not fake news.
well. That takes care of our legal obligation this week. But you know what doesn't take care of, Chaco?
The Bills.
No, well, specifically the bills for Irish Spring, because we don't want to smell like sweaty, nasty fucks that only shower 37 times a year.
Are you saying she's Irish?
I was reading that news story, and in my head, I'm like, how many times do I shower a year? Because there's definitely like I've taken days where I haven't showered. You know,
Yeah.
like. Well, like during this whole Christmas break time, like I go maybe every other day, but I'm like, I would wake up late, I get out of bed, I put on some like pajamas, I'd sit on the sofa and watch TV, cook
No
some
harm,
dinner.
no foul there.
Yeah, I'm not like working and getting sweaty, and then the next day it's like I really need to shower. I'd shower it the next morning. So, but then there are days during the summertime, you know, where it's like for 100 degrees, 100+ degrees,
Like I am right now with my AC off so that
Yeah.
I don't.
and I like shower and then I go to work and then it's like, oh hey, we're gonna go out and get drinks, we're gonna go hang out, we're gonna go do this thing. It's like, well, I gotta shower again because I got kind of sweaty at work. Like I don't want to be a smelly fuck like this lady. So if you want to buy us Irish Spring, you can visit us at
Please.
patreon.com/HWIDG, or you can visit us at subscribestar.com/HWIDG, or you can send us a tip at streamelements.com/SE-152664/tip, which is also in the description.
I like
because
how
apparently-
like your last 6 was like slicks. I'm just gonna remember that as like 4 slicks.
because this bottle is now empty. It was not empty
Mine
at the
too.
beginning of the show.
Mine too. This is as popped as I've been for any of our shows since I've come back to Here's What I Don't Get. Anyway,
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you drinking today?
I am drinking. I'm drinking the Breeder's Choice, and it says El Elícido de los. Oh, come on, Criaduras? No, that can't be right. But it's a whiskey anejo. This is the best I can get in this area, and it's got pictures of cows on it, so it's the Breeder's Choice. So that must be good. But like down here, before I ask you what you're drinking.
You sent me a picture of,
And
like,
you
the
didn't
grocery
respond,
store.
and I was just waiting. I was like, please coach me. I sat in the grocery store. I was like, maybe he'll see, and I'll get the right thing.
I don't remember when it came in. I saw it, and it was like one of those things where I looked at it and I was like, that's look at those whiskeys, and then I put my phone back in my pocket and went back to do whatever I was doing. It must have been a day that I was.
Please
either at
tell
work
me
or
next
was
time I
doing
go.
something.
Yeah,
I think the
which one
thing
to get?
was, what I recall is I've never had any of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I will say this about Breeder's Choice. It's fine. It goes down smooth enough. Okay, smooth enough. Like my wife won't drink it, but I will. It's fine. I bought this actually last year when I bought this property, and I would have it with cigars that were given to me as kind of like a congratulations for getting your property. So cigars and whiskey go really well when you're sitting outside by the pool. And Breeder's
by a
Choice
fire.
was the way. What's that? Sorry?
Or by a fire.
Which I have, but right now is not the time.
Not now. No, now's not the time for you.
Yeah. But what are you drinking tonight, Tab?
I'm drinking the Glenlivet 1824 Founders Reserve. It's aged in American oak barrels, which makes it kind of like a bourbon. I got this bottle in 2020, in February of 2020, following the death of a good friend and coworker. So I finally polished it off today.
So pull up what Mr. Kill Everything wrote here. He says, "What cigars do you smoke?" And I will answer that very quickly. If I am, so I have 3 that I smoke. I will smoke a Cohiba. So I can get Cohibas
Which color?
down here. What's that? Sorry.
Which color?
The yellow tape on it is the one that I go with, but this one that I was smoking before was a La Caoba. And here's the other thing. Going back to my good enough, because I brought up I think before we were going on the air, I was telling you about the whiskeys that I would drink back in Alberta. And down here in Paraguay, there's a market that's like famous in Asunción called Mercado Cuatro or Market 4. And it's this giant, like, freaking circus of a market. And like, if you go in there, you can literally get anything you want. It'll probably be a knockoff, but you can get anything you want. And in it, they have this guy that's there, and he's rolling his own cigars there, and they're fucking phenomenal. They are the best, and they're cheap, and they're tiny, and they taste amazing. And they, like, I can watch him do it, and there's no additives or anything like that. It's amazing. And so they have no brand name. It's just like, you know, like that guy's thing. I don't even know his name. I just buy him from him, and like he'll hand them to you like classy, you know, like in a giant like grocery bag, like from some grocery store. Like he'll put like 20 of them in there, and it costs you like $7, and they're the best. And like, I don't know, man.
I could go for that.
All my best memories are tied to smoking this guy's cigars and drinking. Actually, it's funny because I drank whiskey because I'm with you, but down here they have a drink called Kanya, which is like a dirty rum, and it's based off of like their sugar cane that they have here. I love it, but like it's hard on you. You can't have too much of it, but it's like stupid cheap, and it also goes great with the cigars. Another comment here is from Holly Bieski. Smooth enough is my daily tequila. I love that you have a daily tequila. Tequila is an underrated drink.
Tequila is
and
painful alcohol. Oh, I can't do tequila.
So, anyways,
my system is very, very, very finely attuned to whiskey. I can drink whiskey all day, all night, no problems. But the second you start to like add stuff in there, it's like.
For me, I'm not as particular. I like beer still. I try to cut it down because I know it's got phytoestrogens in it. But I do drink some of the beers down here. I love red wine. I especially love any Malbec. There's literally not a single Malbec on this planet that's bad. Even the cheapest, crappiest Malbec is still a very drinkable drink. And I live right next to Argentina. And if we ever pop over into Argentina, you're getting like bottles of Malbec for like $2-3 a bottle. And it's, you know, can't complain. I'm not even that big of a drinker, but like at the same time, like those are there. As far as tequila goes, you got to pay for quality. You got to pay for quality.
That's why I only drink Saphir and Neho. You know.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. It's
a fake one. It's the tequila that's in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Ah, okay, all right. So, did we already list off the tiers?
We did not. We have 5 tiers. We have the $1 tier, which gets you early access to each week's episode, plus our monthly minisodes. We have our $2 tiers where we throw the random bits and bobs. I can tell you in March there's going to be a John Wick review. John Wick 4 is coming out. I'm very much looking forward to it. As you know, the people here at Here's What I Don't Get love John Wick. We've done a movie commentary of all 3 John Wick movies. We'll do a movie commentary of 4 as soon as it's available on physical media or for rent.
Quick question. Have you done a review of The Birdcage?
We have not done a review of The Birdcage.
Okay, so just like a little bit of like inside baseball. One of the fun background controversies. I don't even think it was level of controversy. One of our first little bristles when we had our group thing was The Birdcage is one of your favorite movies. And I respect that. I respect that. But I was like being a dick and like, you know, shutting it down as like degenerate. I think you and I doing a review of, not a review, maybe a commentary.
Commentary.
A
Yeah.
commentary of the Birdcage might be, I don't know. Whoever's watching this right
I
now,
would
tell me
love
if
to.
you think
No,
that would be a good one.
Fuck those people. I'd love to do it with you because I specifically the opening like 90 seconds of the Birdcage is some of the best filmmaking ever done.
Isn't there like a long continuous shot
Yes.
in that one? Okay.
And it's impressive.
Okay. I will say this. I always love long continuous shots. I told you one of my favorite movies of all time is Magnolia. Magnolia has an infamously long shot that goes forever. There's a couple of I liked what was it, 1918 or 1917? That was like
came out recently.
It's like a simulated long shot. Like it makes you feel like it's all one long shot, and like it really draws you in. Magnolia is one of my favorite movies of all time. It has a very long shot, but it's funny about long shots. There is a movie that I hate by a director that I hate that has the greatest long shot opening of all time, which is Snake Eyes, starring Nicolas Cage, directed by Brian De Palma. I hate the movie.
I haven't seen that one.
But I absolutely love this extremely over the top long shot that starts the movie. If you're going to watch the movie, just watch that long shot. It's phenomenal. It's like one of the greatest. It's like setting up for like a boxing match, and it's just it's amazing. Movie sucks. Opening sequence is awesome. Anyways, so
I'll have to add it to my thing because I love Nicolas Cage and I have not seen that movie. Anyway,
it's a good movie.
Then we have
not a good movie. Good opening. Anyways.
Good one opening. Yeah. Then we have our $5 tier, which you get our monthly bonus episodes here. Here's what I do get, where you drop the hate and talk about what's great. Then we have our $10 tier, where you, the fan, submit a film. You vote on what film we watch, and we watch it, record a feature-length commentary. I put out a bunch of those to make up for 2022 recently. We're going to be doing commentaries monthly this year. Probably. Really dependent on time. And then finally we have our $50 Spite Producer tier, where I actually got a message right as we started recording, requesting some guests for episode 333. I'll have to dig that message that I got back up. So we'll see.
Who'd they ask for?
They asked for John C. Dvorak and Adam Curry.
Can you pull that off?
No agenda. Man, I don't fucking know. The way that I'd have to do it is because Carl is kind of in tight with them at WATP, which check out. I did an episode of WATP recently talking about what was the Seek Treatment. That's the episode that I'm on. Holy shit, that show was bad. But they asked for both of them, and then so there's actually kind of there's like a long read up here that I'm not going to jump into right now. But we thank all of our patrons, big and small, for supporting the show. Without you, we absolutely would not still be going now after 321 episodes. So thank you for all of your generous support over the years. And if you're not supporting the show and you like it, I encourage you to join us on one of our levels, even if it's just sending us a tip now and again on the Stream Element. So thanks everybody for supporting the show.
Thank you.
But let's jump back into some issues.
Awesome. Bring it up.
I'm actually going to run and go to the bathroom because I have to pee real bad.
Totally
I'll be
fine.
back momentarily.
All right. I will stay here and entertain yous people. The people that will be, this whole portion will be completely cut out of the show, I'm pretty sure. So do you guys have any questions about Tab or myself while he is gone? Because I'd be more than happy to answer what you got. So throw them my way, because I can't even put them on the screen, but I can see them when they come up. So yeah, I will. Let's see. What do we got here? Thanks, Mr. Kill Everything. There's nothing there. That's just a lull. That's not enough. That doesn't get me anywhere. Does anybody have a good joke that I can read off onto the live stream? Throw me a joke. Anybody who's got a joke? Especially like anybody, like, where are my flat earthers at? Throw me a flat earth joke. I would love to see something that I can read off while Tab's gone because he loves NASA. Anything? No? No. If that is Buck who's pretending to just be his own self over here, that's got to be Buck. Buck, is that you? What about Hollow Earthers? That's a good question. I don't know what to say about Hollow Earthers, but I love me some Hollow Earth. Like, you know, the Nazis were big Hollow Earthers. Backstory. That's some good stuff. Buck here using the company chat to check in from the. Buck, are you showering and watching this show at the same time? You know what's good is that I think he's about to come back with some stuff about water conservation. So you better be conserving some water in there, Buck. Right. So Hollow Earthers are fun too. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I don't even understand the whole Hollow Earth thing, like to a degree. Like I don't understand whether or not like it's like they can travel easier than everybody else. But anyways, if I'm going to clap right now, see, I'm clapping. This is where you will edit out this part of the show when it comes out later. So Buck is in the chat. Apparently Buck is showering and watching us. So hi, Buck. Ole mean Shada.
So just as I got down here, I went to the bathroom real quick, and I was about to sit in my seat, and I just heard like a lot of weapons fire, very close.
Well, right, because you're in St. Louis.
Yeah. So I went back upstairs and retrieved something to potentially defend my basement.
What do you got?
You might see a little bit of it here, and you can guess what that is.
What do you got?
It's my Keltec KS7 that I ironically have not ever fired, so I don't.
Okay. Okay, hang on. Bonus content alert. If we get, let's see, if we get 20 new $1 subscribers or more in the next 2 weeks,
okay,
you need to film yourself firing your weapon in a range or something for the first time. And I have not fired my Boito, and so I will get some bonus content together. So you firing your weapon, me firing my weapon. And because Buck is still watching right now, Buck, I want you to film yourself firing a weapon to bring the testosterone back to the Here's What I Don't Get podcast and you know, make us like, you know, about guns and glory. So I
would love to do that, but I want to so I have this KS7 shotgun that is, if you Google it, it's like a weird layout for a shotgun, and I've modified it by adding a foregrip that didn't exist before. And on the list, I need to replace the carry handle that's built in with a Picatinny rail and iron sights. But I would love to get a Picatinny like GoPro mount, so you can like really look down the gun.
Dude, okay, I'm gonna just tell you right now. I'll donate my portion of the Patreon dollars just for you to buy that GoPro, just for that shot. Okay. So like it's on record. I'm donating my portion just to make sure you get that GoPro to get that shot. Okay. So figure that out.
I gotta buy the rail. So the thing is, YouTube really does not like firearms. So I don't want to be like, here's my gun.
Fair enough.
This weapon is not loaded.
Okay, it's not loaded. Buck is saying here, because Buck is like hijacked the Here's What I Don't Get podcast comments here, and he's saying, I can only afford to fire my son's Nerf gun. Dude, what happened? I was shooting 22s at your place, like in, what year was that? What year was that? Was that in was that 2019? Was that before the world ended? All right, anyways.
I think Buck is going back to hanging out with Aunt Buck. Versus
good for him. He should be. That's a better place to go. Anyways,
that's true. Here's what I don't get: water conservationists So
Ooh.
I read that news article about the woman who showered 37 times in 2022 like a degenerate.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of comments and discussion about the article of like, well, you're saving water and all this shit. And then I started to see, um, I'm on Instagram to try and talk to girls, and all of these like posts, turn off the water while you're brushing your teeth to save water. Don't flush the toilet when you pee because you'll save water. And don't do this to save water. And there's like, it's propaganda, number one. Um,
Totally.
and
Totally.
I've come to understand and be able to
Psyops.
identify.
It's not just propaganda. It's psyops. It's like it's fucking with your head.
Yeah,
Because like it's not even just like a duck and cover thing. It's like a make you feel guilty for being alive thing. It's ridiculous.
exactly.
Yeah.
But so like when I see these kinds of news stories, I it irritates me because propaganda irritates me now more than anything.
As it should.
I think because I'm autistic, propaganda doesn't work on me,
Right.
and it never has. And I've always seen these ads, like our whole lives have just been inundated with ads, and they don't work on me. And I thought it was because like ads don't work. And then I found out, in the last 5-10 years that like advertising doesn't work on autistic people because we're so like we are so hyper focused on things. Like I buy the same laundry detergent I've been buying for the last 10 years because it works well and doesn't have perfumes, and like I hate things smelling weird.
Mhm.
And so when I see these things about the water stuff, I'm like, that's propaganda. The stuff about you have to get your vaccine, you have to wear your mask, you have to 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Like I saw all that as propaganda, and people were like, people don't like the term propaganda because they think propaganda is immediately bad. Propaganda made us all want to wear seatbelts in our cars.
Yes.
Now, that was a good goal.
It's
but
a good thing. Yeah.
It was the tool that was used is conceived as being bad. I don't like to prescribe. I don't think that tools are bad. I had this conversation with a friend of mine. He had these tools that belonged to his grandson, they belonged to the father of his grandson, but he wasn't sure if he should give them to his grandson because the tools were also used to commit crimes. And so it was like, is there a karma that's imbibed into these tools because they were used for crimes? And I gave him my philosophy on tools, which is that, a tool is not necessarily good or bad. I have my weapon over here.
Mhm.
My weapon is not good or bad. Now, it could work in the act of good,
In the wrong
protecting my
hands,
house
sure.
from whoever's fucking firing weapons outside my house, or it could be used to rob a convenience store. One of those is good and one of those is bad. But it's not
Mhm.
the weapon that's bad; it's the intention of the person that's bad.
Totally.
So I see this propaganda about water conservation, about like, oh, we shouldn't flush if you just pee in your toilet. Just you don't need to flush it. You flush the poos, but don't flush the peas.
Yeah. What is it? If it's brown, flush it down. If it's yellow, let it mellow.
It mellow, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Piss stinks. It really starts to smell after
Especially
a
if you're
short period of
diabetic.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, I mean, people say like, oh, this smells like cat piss. Like cat piss and human piss are pretty equal in what they are, molecularly speaking. So I see these articles and people are like, well, I don't flush all the time because of this or that. It's like, I live in, I looked this up. It's the 70th largest city in the United States.
Really?
It really, and you're
Sorry,
like, oh,
wait,
that's weird.
hold on. St. Louis is the 70th largest?
70th largest city in the United States.
You know what's weird?
But-
I'm sorry. I only want to make a quick sports ball comment, but like St. Louis is like, it's got a Major League Baseball team, it's got a Major League Football team, right? And
Mhm.
no,
The football
It
team
has
left, and
twice.
they're very upset about it.
yeah, and but it's also got a hockey team. So like it counts. Like those are two big things. Like the St. Louis Cardinals are not like a shit team. And the
They're
St.
not.
Louis Blues won a cup in the last 20 years. So like they're not like that's weird. I didn't know there was 70th. That's crazy.
And
Sorry. I didn't
So what was going to basically why that reason is in 1885 there was the Great Divorce where St. Louis City and St. Louis County separated, and so there's St. Louis City County and St. Louis County, and I'm in the city, which is so St. Louis St. Louis County is what you're thinking of, which is our greater metropolitan area. As
Uh-huh.
far as metropolitan areas go in the United States, it's the 21st.
Okay, okay. And where are you in relation to the Mason-Dixon line?
I am north of the Mason-Dixon line now.
Okay. But like how far north? And I only ask this because I'm writing a Western novel after the Civil War. And I'm a Canadian. I shouldn't be writing it.
It's probably like 100 miles or something, or 150
That's
miles. I
still
don't know
close
what it is
enough.
to the border.
All right, all right.
Oklahoma is part of Oklahoma is most of Oklahoma is south of the Mason-Dixon line, but anyway, that's
Okay,
that's
okay.
not really part of the issue. So
Sorry.
the reason why I bring this up is that inside St. Louis City, the 70th largest city in the United States, there are no water meters.
What?
We just don't have them. Yeah. So in Tulsa, the 47th largest city in the United States, and I don't remember where it
Larger than
fell.
St. Louis?
By population, right? Because of that
Weird.
weird 1800s divide. That's what's
Okay.
kept St. Louis artificially small. But our
Yeah.
suburbs are huge. Our
Okay.
suburbs, most of the suburbs have water meters, but St. Louis City, no water meters. When I get a
Based?
bill, when I get a bill for my water usage from the city, it's 3 months at a time. And it's like, you live in a
Ugh.
house that has 5 rooms, you don't have a pool, you have X amount of occupants. Like, they have this weird way of deciding how much you owe, but it's flat. I mean, they raise the rates every few years, but once you're like setting your rate, if your house is not changing in size, so I pay $104 for every 3
Ugh.
months, which is
Okay. Well, that's not that bad. Over 3 months, it's not that bad.
it's not that bad because in
Yeah.
Tulsa I was paying something like $54 or $55 a month.
Per month.
A month. Yeah.
Oof.
And but that was like based on pure consumption. So I try and up my consumption. But the thing about living in one of the top 100 metropolitan areas in the United States is
Yeah.
that so I flush my toilet, my shit goes down a pipe that I can actually see right now. It goes through my basement.
Is it clear
goes-
pipe?
No, I can just see it because I'm in the basement.
Okay.
It goes through this pipe out into the front yard, and then it like joins the sanitary sewer system, and it
Mm.
goes off somewhere. I don't fucking know where
Yeah,
they
away.
put it in a big centrifuge, and they pull out all the shit and piss and all that stuff, and then they pump the water out into a reservoir, and then eventually that reservoir is drained to pump more water into my house.
Yes.
What these water
Shit water.
conservationists seem to think is that me flushing my shit away somehow just like deletes the water from existence because they don't understand like it's not just merely the law of conservation of like of mass and energy where you cannot like mass cannot be created or destroyed. It's or the rain cycle. They're just like we're wasting water. We got to And so this whole lie of oh, you need to turn your faucet off while you're brushing your teeth, which everyone fucking does. Because if you don't live
No,
in
I
St.
don't.
Louis, well, if
Yeah.
you don't live in St. Louis City County, you not turning off the faucet, you're now paying 1.6 gallons per minute. That's 3.2
Okay.
gallons. Yeah.
If it's going to cost you money, that's different, right? That's different.
Exactly. That's what
different.
people think. I don't want to run up my water bill. I remember this when I was a
Yeah.
kid. I was probably in middle school or high school. I was in the age where you start to like be given responsibilities like doing your own laundry.
Right.
And I was over at my dad's house, and I didn't like live full time with my dad, but I would stay over weekends and whatnot. And so I had like a small amount of laundry, but it was just my laundry. It wasn't everyone's laundry, and so it was a smaller load than everyone's. And I threw my laundry in the washing machine because it was smaller. I set the dial lower, and my stepmom said, "Don't set this to anything other than the large load because water's cheap, electricity is expensive." And I don't know why that stuck with me all this time because while my water costs nothing, the gas to heat my house jumped precipitously for November and December. And not precipitously, that's downwards. it jumped because suddenly it's fucking cold. My electricity in the winter, my electricity in the summer was way higher because I had to run.
Right.
Like,
That makes
those
sense.
are the things to conserve for my own needs. But water costs nothing. Water goes into a system, it comes back out the other side. When I lived in Tulsa, go ahead.
Can I jump in on that? Because like I literally have free water. Literally.
Yeah,
have
so
free water.
this is why I wanted to bring this issue in. Is
Yeah.
that like the argument is that like there's no water in the third world, there's no water in
That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
South America or in Africa, and somehow me in St. Louis in the middle of America, by not running my brushing my teeth is going to save you water.
So there's this thing, which is so when I was younger, when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, I like this like ska band. I'm not proud of it, but I like this ska band called Real Big Fish. And they had this song called Everything Sucks. And I feel like we're living that because like basically everything you like and everything you do is just everything sucks. Right. And in this case, it's like when you bring up about the third world and it's like, oh, we got to worry about them. Oh, like they're doing so bad. It's like, we're not though. Like we're really not. Paraguay, the name Paraguay, I wrote this out to you. It's like Paraguay. It's like it's agua in the middle of the name. We have water. We're fine. We're a landlocked country with a ton of fucking water.
Do you have an aquifer? Is that what you have?
I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
So we have the Guarani Aquifer, which is one of the world's largest clean water aquifers it's one of the largest clean water aquifers in the world. And we talked about George W. Bush. If anybody looks up George W. Bush or the Bush family and Paraguay, you will find out that they are technically the largest landowners in Paraguay. And they bought a shit ton of like land in the Chaco region, which my name comes after. And
I'm gonna be honest. For a second I thought you were just like, this land is the Chaco region.
it's my domain. So like the thing is like we don't have a problem with clean water. We got a lot of clean water. This is a great place. If you are concerned about water, Paraguay is your place. And I sent you photos earlier today, not necessarily to like play on the show, but like to show you, like I got water literally just coming up out of the ground, and my water comes from like it's filtered naturally. It comes out of the ground, and it's funny because you bring up about water's basically free or water's cheap and power is expensive. So like where we are, my power bill, even in the like worst, like now, like with all the air conditioning units on all day and all this kind of stuff like that, at most I'm spending $45 a month on my power. Nothing on my water because I got my own water. And I spend a little bit on my gas to like heat my food. And other than that, that's my utility bill. And my shitty internet. And that's
the crazy thing, right? Is so I have like flat billing on my electricity where I pay $100 a month, and then at the end of the year I like make up whatever the difference is, and usually the difference is under, which makes the next month cost that much less.
Like a rebate. Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's just a way to like make your bills kind of normal. And so in the summer it'll be high because I'm running AC, so it'll be like $120 a month. And then, but the winter it'll drop down to like $70, $80, which is a lot more than you, right? But I'm in.
Well, it's funny because like when I lived in Asuncion, we had a much higher power bill, but for whatever reason, and we had a much higher water bill, but we found out that there was like a leak on the property. And so we were paying a lot more for that. And then we got a rebate afterwards, but like, it was this like long rigmarole. But like here, like, yeah, all I pay for is my power. Now, like my power is not like the most reliable thing in the world, but like I'm not worried about water. There are parts of Paraguay that like, get drier. And it's funny because like a lot of my clients are mining companies, right? Like a lot of my, day job clients are mining companies. And a lot of those are in the third world. So they're in places like Guatemala or Chile or Guyana or places like that, like down here. And the thing is like, in our household, we have certain companies that we kind of frown upon and try to like avoid as much as possible. Those would be like Disney.
Yeah.
Those would be like Nestle. Nestle is one that I don't like. I don't like Nestle. I try to stay away from Nestle as much as possible. And the thing is like Nestle is one of those ones that will go into a place and will take a property like what I've got, buy it, and just suck up all the water and then bottle it and sell it. And so like the thing is like water.
And can I add to that by saying,
Sure.
It's not just that they'll suck the water out, that then they'll convince you that like your water is somehow bad and you need to buy their water.
Exactly.
And that's why they're a shitbox company.
Well, so part of the reason why I sent you the video of like my water is like to like somebody who's never seen like how the sausage is made, right? like they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, it's kind of like a weird, kind of like dirty, like it's got like, it's not like I'm like doing it out of like a crystal bowl or anything like that. Like it's like it comes out of the ground and a little bit of the like dust or whatever, the sand at the bottom of my thing kind of kicks up a bit. And like for most, like we've tested it, it's healthy, it's totally fine, it's better than most water, to be honest with you. And like it tastes great. And like I try to like, I try to not have to buy bottled water if I don't have to, because I don't have to. I bought a house on a property that has a lot of water. But
the
like
only reason I buy a bottled water when I'm like driving, but that's so that
totally
I have
makes
a thing
sense
to hold water in. It's
totally
not because
makes
I'm
sense.
addicted to clean tasting water.
Well, and the other thing is like going back to propaganda. It's like they've done this thing to you where like you're like afraid of tap water. But like you talk to most people and like tap water's mostly fine unless they're like fluoridating the shit out of it. Going back to my problem, fluoride in the water is not a good thing, and they've already proven that. But the thing is that like it's weird to me is like, so when I moved back from Paraguay the first time, we moved back to Vancouver. Vancouver's like hard left, like super duper left. So I'm kind of like you to a degree, because I used to live in lefty cities or lefty places with no problem until I don't know, until I had kids. And then it just like, it started to hit me. But like we moved back to Vancouver and my wife and I had this like pact, which was like whoever gets hired first, the other person stays home and is the stay-at-home parent until our second child is born. So we got back. I had a meeting with a client from before. He was like, I got work for you. I'm going to start it in 2 months. And my wife went and met with her former, colleague for work. And the lady at the end goes, I bet you didn't realize that this was a job interview and you got the job. So my wife ended up taking the job and I ended up being the stay-at-home dad for a little while. And it was like a shock to the system. I wasn't ready for it. So one of the things that I would do to keep my son busy would be to take him to the TELUS World of Science, Science World. And forget it. And when you brought up about this, it hit me because I'll never forget this. We went on the train because we were near the train station. We went on the train and we went down to like near the water where this globe baller building was, where we could go in, and it was a science world. And we went in, and the first thing we did is we take a right turn. We pay our admission. We come into the right, and there was like this whole area. I didn't know it was what it was, but it was this whole conservationist area. And the very first thing you did is like, have you been to like carnival, and they have those like games where you like aim a water gun at like a target, and like you're racing against everybody
You're
else,
like
and
making the thing go up. Or
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
the balloon or whatever. Yeah.
so there was one of those. Like it was kind of like one of those, but like you could come up and you could use this gun and shoot these targets that came up on the screen. And so you're shooting the targets, shooting the targets, shooting the targets. After you're done, it tells you how much water you just wasted. I was like, what? Like it's like you just wasted this much. This much was needed to make. Yeah. It's like you just wasted this much water. And I'm like, my clothes were still soaking wet for coming in from the outside from the rain. I'm with my son. We're doing this thing. I'm like waiting for it to like give me a prize or something. And it's telling me how much water I just wasted. I'm like, then why'd you make me waste the water, asshole? And
Yeah,
like,
you put the gun in my hand, literally speaking.
and I'm like, I live in Vancouver. The place is like 98% rain every freaking day. And like,
Holy shit.
and like we live on the water. It's raining all the time. I just came in from the rain. We got hydropower. What are you talking about? Why are you telling me this? What is this? And I remember because we had bought a pass for the stupid Science World. And after that day, I wouldn't let me and my son go into that room where the stupid conservationist area stuff was, because it's stupid. Yeah. It's just stupid. Like water is not leaving the atmosphere. Okay. It's not leaving the atmosphere. It's a zero-sum game. And like, even if I drink it, or if my cow drinks it, like I've seen this with like meat, like anti-meat campaigns were like, oh, like meat takes this much water. Fuck you. It pisses. Have you seen a cow piss? It pisses all the time into the ground, and it goes in the ground and it gets filtered by the ground, and it comes up in my water. World works. And like it's annoying. It's annoying. And it's such Greta Thunberg bullshit to like.
And I feel like it ties into your talk. We were talking about NPCs and the cartridge in their brain, right?
Yeah.
Like we all learned in the 4th or 5th grade about the water cycle, where the water rains, we gather it goes in the ground, it filters through, it evaporates, it becomes rain again. Like all that water cycles, we learned that. And then people still think, oh, I need to not run. Like Cascade has ads that are like, oh, run the dishwasher instead of doing the dishes by hand because it somehow saves more water. Like, I'm sure it saves more water versus me like washing all of my dishes by hand and sitting there and rinsing every single one of them. But if I just have like a pan or a pot or that big thing that won't fit in the dishwasher,
dude, you're a bachelor. Fucking wash it in the fucking sink. Nobody cares. Like,
oh, I run the dishwasher.
No,
I run the dishwasher because I'm lazy. Like that's really what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with water conservation. It's just like,
right.
Oh, I can put all these dishes in this thing and then turn this knob and then they're all clean a couple hours later. Sign me up.
Here's what it is. They hate you. They hate that you're alive. They hate that you might have a kid someday. They hate you in general. They hate you. They want you dead. They wish you would take the vaccine because then, like, in 5 years, you'll be dead. And so the thing is like it goes back to Real Big Fish. Everything sucks. Everything sucks. You can't have meat because because of methane and it uses too much water. Fuck you.
Well, yes,
fuck you.
Because
like most of the time
meat takes water now too.
It's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. They just want you dead. That's all they care about. This is me in my tinfoil hat. All they want you is dead. They just want you dead. That's all everything sucks to them. Every time they talk about human beings, we suck at everything. We are the worst things that ever happened to the planet. We're a cancer. They hate us. We eat too much food. We use too much resources. We put off too many emissions. We make too many kids. Like it's like everything it's all the same. It's all the same. It's the same bullshit lie. It's a bullshit lie, because the thing is that this world is amazing. It can handle you. It has all types of resources. Now, going back to conservation, I used to like have to raise money for like the World Wildlife Fund. And I used to hate it. I used to fucking hate it because the thing is like all it was propaganda.
I hate those
Like,
kinds of charities
For
because
climate change shit. And it's like,
They
but
go-
they're not doing anything. They're
yeah,
not
it's like
doing anything.
we're gonna say you send me $10, we're gonna save a panda. But it's like you send me $10 and our CEOs and all of our staff get
Yeah.
$6.
You send me $10 and $9.97 of that is going to go towards printing off brochures to make you feel guilty about being alive.
Yes.
And that's really what it comes down to. And so the thing is that so there are real environmental things that I do care about. I do. There are water conservationist things that we should maybe be talking about. Right.
Well, I'd like to specifically talk because 60% of all water usage, and this is a stat that was featured in the biggest problem of the universe, episode 22, many years ago. Dick brought in drought dick bags, and then this was kind of a spin-off of that same issue.
Oh, is this like the not flushing and the like almonds and all that kind of stuff? In California?
Like people were pissed off at his man for doing dishes. And 60% of water is used for agriculture. Like the little bit of water you use in your house is nothing. It's literally so completely insignificant. You could go in your house and turn on so in my house I have a tap at the sink in the bathroom. I have a tap at the sink in the kitchen. I have a tap here in the basement that I could just run full time. I have 2 taps out on the side of the house. I could just open those fucking up and just let them pour out into the street. And it would the amount of water that I waste would be negligible compared to what they're using for industry, for manufacturing, and even industry is eclipsed by agriculture. And if you live in an area with high agriculture, that's where the fucking water's going. In Western Oklahoma, there's the Ogala Aquifer. It's like the panhandle of Texas and like the western part of Oklahoma and part of New Mexico. And it's kind of up there probably with your aquifer there in Paraguay,
probably
as far as like size in the world.
Yeah.
And there's like all this like, oh my God, we're going to deplete the aquifer and you need to not have, be doing running water and not flush your piss. It's because they're trying to take that area, the panhandle of Texas, the western part of Oklahoma, New Mexico, where we're like very, very much on the edge of desert. It's very, very hard to grow shit when you're in the fucking desert. And the way you can make that up is by
irrigation,
thousands and thousands of gallons a day into making that shit live. And we need it, yes, because if you kill the farms that are in that area, you will kill thousands, if not millions, of Americans.
Well, so for example, I used to live in the Pacific Northwest, right? And one thing that used to bug me was again, we got rained on all the time. But the thing is so the water shelf or the water conservation that they had to deal with was so when you get rained on your house, normally if your house wasn't there, it would just get soaked into the ground, right? But if your house is there, then it hits the roof and it goes into your gutters and then it goes into the system. And if you put a bunch of roads to your house and other roads, you're covering up places on the surface that would have absorbed the water. But the thing that is bugging me about this is there's this weird thing. So for example, while you have the government saying, oh, you got to conserve water in this regard or that regard, it's this fucked up weird thing where in some places you can't collect rainwater. And I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's also mind blowing.
Yeah. It's and so water rights are a big deal. It was a big part of why I bought this particular property. So
it's also that's the major focal point of the James Bond film Quantum of Solace, which people think are a bad movie.
I haven't seen it.
They're correct.
Yeah.
No, it's not
Okay.
good. The Daniel Craig movies, unwatchable. All of them.
I've only seen Casino Royale and the nuts scenes. I was like, I couldn't watch anymore. No, in my property, we have 150 orange trees, right? And my oranges are they're the greatest oranges, the greatest orange life. So many of them, I got to give them away. And
Take
the
some
thing
fucking
is,
oranges.
what's that? Sorry.
I'll take some
What's that?
fucking oranges. I love an
Dude,
old fashioned.
Dude, you come down here and we'll do a live broadcast from here. If you make that time work,
Yeah,
you,
I just got.
we've got a place to stay. What's that? Sorry.
I just need a passport.
Oh, you don't have a U.S. passport. Get a passport and we'll make it happen.
We will.
But the thing is my oranges are fantastic. They're juicy. They're amazing. And the reason why is because I got like a crazy amount of water underneath my property. Now, if some asshole, there's no real way to be upstream from me. I'm like kind of at the top of like my little, I wouldn't call it a mountain, but like a really tall hill.
The Chaco region.
I'm not in the Chaco region. I would never live in the Chaco region. I'm in the Cordillera.
Nuevo Chaco region.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is that like, this is why I can have the fish farm. This is why I can have all this fruit growing, and like I still am setting up piping so that I can irrigate my pasture, so that I can have even better grass and I can have even better trees. Because like I have the ability to do that, I might as well do that. But the thing is that like I'm not worried about the water. I'm not, because like it's gonna go into the ground and it's gonna go
back into the aquifer. Yeah,
back into the system. It's ridiculous. But the thing is like the key thing is they hate us. They really hate us.
Yeah,
they hate us in every way. They hate us for who we are. They hate us that we exist. They hate us. They especially hate people that didn't buy into the jab. You know, like and like again, like I get it. I get it. So for example, there's a law here where I can't just up and like chop down all my forest. Like half of my property is forest, but I can only take out maybe like 25-30% of the trees. But I get it. I bought it. I know what my plan is to like slowly but surely replace all the like useless trees with like fruit trees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like make a food forest, right? But the thing is, like, there's some conservationist stuff that makes sense. Water conservation does not. So anyway, yeah.
I'm not like against conservation, right? Like I love that St. Louis, for example, like it has a lot of really beautiful green spaces, and I love, we have Tower Grove Park that's kind of near me. There's Botanical Gardens. We have Forest Park. This is like great. It's like 2 square miles of just mostly wilderness.
Right.
There's also, there's the zoo, and there's but it's a green space. And like I pull up the map of St. Louis and I look at it, and there's all these like green squares where they've really made parks being an important thing. I love that. I think it's great. I like that we have like wilderness protection zones where you go like, we're just going to allow nature to do its thing. But when it comes to like you changing your lifestyle to save water, it's so disingenuous, and it's just a way. It's a method of control. It's like there's a news story right now where they want to ban gas stoves because gas stoves could emit
I've seen this.
deadly gas, and gas stoves are primarily in poor neighborhoods and that kind of
bullshit.
stuff. Like,
It's bullshit.
and I have a gas stove.
I love gas stoves.
I fucking love it.
They're the best.
It cooks
Boiling water
better
so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it cooks better. I have a gas hot water heater. When Tim and I were in high school, there was this big ice storm that hit Tulsa, and it shut Tulsa down for the better part of 2 weeks. Like nothing was open. We were dead.
Scary.
And
yeah.
The problem was that the electric company had not prioritized clearing lines for the 4 years prior to the ice storm. And so all the lines went down, but the house that I lived in, we had a gas stove, and we had a gas hot water heater. So we were able to take showers every day. And we were able to boil water on the range, which kept the humidity up in the house, which made the house not feel as cold as it really was.
That's a
And we were running
huge
a
deal.
fire, 24 hours a day. And like we were very, very fortunate when that happened. Because we had what we had. And I just see these kind of regulations where like, well, you shouldn't have a gas stove.
It's
And
gonna
I eventually
come.
see I see a day where they're like, oh, Tab, you use too much water because your toilet like I have this weird leak in my toilet where sometimes if I flush it and it will just start to run about 45 minutes later, which is the worst time. I talked about this on WATP the last time that I was on, and I didn't mention like the full details, and people were like, "Oh, you don't flush when you piss." Like, I will go pee in the middle of the night, and I won't flush the toilet, and not because I want to conserve water, but because sometimes if I flush the toilet,
It'll start
about
running.
45 minutes later, it starts running, and it wakes me up, and I'm like, "What the fuck? I gotta go fucking jiggle the handle now." And I use a heated blanket, so like my bed is very nice and toasty, and the rest of the house is not. I gotta get up and like run over there and be like, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? All right, back into bed. Like, I don't want to fucking do that. So it's like 3
No.
a.m. I gotta take a piss. I'll just piss and like leave it until the next morning. When if it starts to run, like I'm at work, I don't give a
Ruin the
fuck.
world if you let a piss.
Yeah,
You gotta get rid of, but like a piss, you gotta get. But like, yeah, like for us, we had an engineer come by, and he was telling us like when we finally get pigs, because we're gonna get pigs at some point in
Yeah.
time, you can
so
actually
you can
set
hide the
up
bodies.
yeah, that too. You can set up a system with the pigs where like they like like shit in their pen, and then like you can collect the gas and then use it as like a heating source. Like you
kinda
can
cool.
actually like yeah, I think it's the greatest. I want that. And so like we're gonna try to get that going at some point in time for sure. But like at the same time, like I've got like the forest, and I can. So when we bought our house, we put in the gas stove, but like in our Quincho, the outdoor kitchen patio place, I've got a old wood fire stove, and like it's a backup for when shit hits the fan, which it will, because it will.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna
Now,
it's gonna there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, this isn't a conspiracy theory. It's just it's gonna happen, and like
currently it's a conspiracy theory. 5 years, it'll be totally
not
true.
even like I'm guessing
I-
2024. But like the thing
I'm
is
saying 2027 because I think they'll get through another presidential election before they go like, oh,
maybe
Wait,
maybe
wait,
they're
no,
gonna get
2024 sorry.
Kamala in there, so she's gonna get like set a record for like longest like presidential term. She's not. I'm not actually predicting that, but the thing that I'm saying is like it's fun. Everything you do, everything you consume, there's going to be some quote unquote expert somewhere that's going to like tell you why you suck and you suck for using that thing. And like at a certain point, you're just like, you just tune out. Because I can instead just picture that apple spinning around in my brain, like because I want to, and just like I can like tune you out and be like, yeah, you're a fucking liar, and you're always gonna lie to me, and you hate me, and everything you do is a lie, and everything you do, like you get caught like red-handed with things, and nothing ever happens to you. So it's like, well, am I gonna listen to you? I'm just not gonna listen to you. There's no point. And like you're gonna shut off my bank account, and you're gonna shut off my like my ability to like travel and all this kind of stuff. Like, fuck you. I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna keep growing my food, and I'm gonna have my water, and you're gonna have to literally play God to shut the water off at my property at this point.
Yeah.
And like I'll be able to keep growing food, and who cares? But like the water conservation thing is just one more thing that they're going to just make you feel guilty for being alive for. And it's just like another thing that sucks. That's all it is.
Yeah, I want to touch on one last thing, and then I'll wrap
Sure.
this up. And I just want to say that you're talking about we're going to use our pigs, and we're going to harvest the gas. We have our own free water. There's a level of recycling. There's a level of kind of keeping things in the system that is beneficial to you by the free market. Like
Mhm.
it benefits you to say, what if if we have pigs that we can eat, that we
Mhm.
can raise, that pigs can dispose of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a level of recycling that doesn't exist for someone that lives in like the 70th largest city in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can harvest that and make our heat, like there's a legitimate level of recycling that happens. You know, composting things. Like I save my cardboard, and I don't save my cardboard because like I love the environment. I want to recycle cardboard. I save my cardboard because I like to make fires in my backyard. And one of the best ways to make a good fire
Oh,
is
it
with the
starts
pizza
it great. Yeah.
pizza box. Like it's got
With the
grease,
cheese
it's
grease?
got cardboard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Boom! That fucker goes up like it's great. So I'll shred up cardboard. I'll pile it in my little fire pit. I'll pile all my kindling. I'll pile paper and logs, and then I'll get that fire going. And that's great night, ready to go. It's not because I love paper. It's just that like it's convenient to me, and
Yeah.
recycling is not convenient. This water conservation is not convenient. If you make it more convenient, if you make it beneficial to me, if there's like by the fact that when I had a water meter, I did not run my faucet when I was brushing my teeth because that is 3 gallons that I have to pay for at the end.
That's
of the
how
month.
they got you. Yeah. Yeah.
But now my water bill doesn't matter at all. Like in the past, if I had this weird toilet flowing issue, when that sucker starts, that's water being lost. I would have called the landlord because I'm currently renting, and I would have said like, "Hey, can you fix this toilet? It's broken." But now I don't give a fuck. I just don't flush the toilet in the middle of the night, and then during the day I'll jiggle the handle when it starts doing its fucking thing. You need to make it worth my time
Well,
to
like
fix the problem.
in our house, like I'll run the faucet for a while before I throw my toothbrush under it. Why? I don't know. Cause like I want the fresh water. I want the fresh water from like what I showed you. I don't want it the one that's been kicking around sitting in my like pipes. I like no. I'm gonna like I'll throw the water on, then go take a shit, then come back and then brush my teeth afterwards. Like that's the way to be a water king. Right there. It's like, like I've got the free water. I might as well do it. And like, it's such a weird concept, but like, it's a part of the bigger picture. It's just another part of the bigger picture, right? Like, it's like, we don't want you having combustion engines anymore. We don't want you using too much electricity. We don't want you using water. We don't want you eating meat. We don't want you like, it's just like, you just fuck off. Like I'm going to exist and like you're going to have to come and kill me. Like I'm not going to like you just have to come and kill me. I'm not going to buy into your bullshit. I don't buy into your bullshit. You're never going to swing me on it. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. You literally will have to send the drone to my home. Just ask my Paraguayan neighbors where the Canadian lives and they'll tell you. And that's how you're going to get me.
Yeah, the electricity one, like I was checking my electricity bill the other day, and it was like, oh, you used X amount of dollars for this and X amount of dollars for this, and there was a little button that was like, how do we know this? And like, I fucking know how you know this. Like, you've got algorithms and algorithms and shit, you motherfuckers. So
yeah, they want to rule everything. That's really what it comes down to. They just want to.
Klaus Schwab wants to rape you and your wife and your kids. So
I saw this thing. So the whole like infamous like you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, and the best response to that was I'm going to own everything and I'm going to be angry. So there's nothing you can do about it. Fuck you. I'm going to own all my shit and come at me, bro.
Yeah,
that's
Joel's in a better position than I am. Like I live in an American city, so if you live in an American city and even like I've paid off my home. Try not paying your property taxes for a year. See what happens. See who owns that home.
Yep.
So
and I'm throwing it out there. I shouldn't be doing this, but like guys, like if there anybody who's listening to this and is thinking about it, like I don't know, do your research. It's available. Quit being a pussy. Like if you can make some money online, go do it. Right? Like go do it.
You have
like
a job that.
Go figure it out. Like I did it. I did it. Like I learned how to write something that nobody else wanted to write. And
It's just slurs. All he writes is slurs every day.
all I do is just like my N key is just burnt out. And a hard R. Anyways, yeah, no, like the point is like just please, like, I don't know, give it some thought. If you like go figure it out. Like, fuck, man, there's so many ways to make money online. It doesn't you don't need to do it through a Patreon. You don't need to do it through a podcast. Like, just figure it out. And if you can, do it. And it doesn't need to be Paraguay. Just go find a place that you can get land that you can go and set your stuff up on. Because the thing is, if you go back in time and you figure out like where people were before the Industrial Revolution, because like at a certain point in time, there'd be a guy in your neighborhood who was really good at making chairs. And there was a guy in your neighborhood who was really good at like, you know, like making like a harness for your oxen. And like you all got together on those things. You knew everybody and you knew how it worked, and you all worked on your own soil because like you grew most of your own food. And that's awesome. I don't even know why these like lefty green people are like against people like me. I'm like on your team. I'm like growing my
You're
own
the greenest
food.
of all of us.
I'm like, you should be like happy with me, but you're not. You hate my guts. But the thing is that like,
Weren't you
like-
talking about putting in solar?
yeah, man, I'll put in solar
fucking
eventually.
Joel is the. You're too woke. You're canceled from the show. Get him off the show.
I'll put in solar. I'll put in solar so that my power doesn't go out every time I try to talk to you. You know, but
Exactly.
it's
That's the free fucking market, Joel. That's the free market.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I live in St. Louis. You can't just put solar. I can't just like fucking put solar panels on the side of my house.
No.
I gotta go get a permit and explain.
Exactly.
And then Ameren has to be like, well, I don't know if that guy should have solar panels on his house. Like, it's such bullshit. It's all such bullshit. It's just like fucking companies trying to guilt you into not brushing your teeth or showering only 37 times a year. Like you've got
'cause they
some
hate
fucking
you.
microbiome.
They
Clean
want you-
yourself. I haven't showered yet today, and I feel gross as fuck. Like, and
because you're an
no,
OnlyFans star. Anyways,
no, here's the real reason. It's because I bought new sheets, brand new sheets. Like I buy new
Okay.
sheets like a couple times a year, so that I'm like always rotating out old
Bakes.
shitty sheets.
I like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And so the new sheets arrived today. I did laundry today. Like today was just laundry day. And then tonight, when I go to bed, I put in clean sheets on the bed. And Buck and I talked about this a long time ago. One of the greatest feelings in the world is like taking a shower, being totally clean, and getting into a clean bed.
Ooh,
Oh
yeah.
man,
Boy.
sleep
Oh,
like a
dude.
baby.
So I told you I'm writing I told you I'm writing a novel again.
Mhm.
Like I told you that. But like back in the day, I wrote a bunch of like pilots for like for television shows, and
Yeah.
I had a character. This is back before like pot was like legal everywhere, but I had this like character that was like, you know, like a pot dealer, and he was like low level luxury, like because everything was like cash. You know, it's not like he could like put his money in the bank or anything like that. It was
Uh-huh.
like all like low level luxury. And like one of the things I had was he always had brand new sheets, and he had brand new underwear, and he had brand new socks. Right. Like that
Yes.
was his like way of flexing his cash economy was
If
to like
I'm
Go
if
ahead.
I'm ever rich, like if I ever hit the lottery, right?
Yes.
The way
Yeah.
you'll know is that I will literally never wear anything other than a brand new pair of socks.
oh dude, the best
Yeah.
feeling. The
I
best
dated
feeling.
a girl. The girl I dated in college, she didn't understand it. She washed everything. Everything that came in the house, it got washed right away. And she
Ah.
once washed an entire brand new package of socks. And I was like, hey, where did that package of socks that I bought went? She's like, oh, I threw it in the washing machine. I was like, no! No!
And then you
Socks are
ended
like
the
virgins.
relationship.
Socks like virgins, you can't fucking wash the socks right. You gotta wear the socks brand new, and then you put them in the washing machine. What the fuck is the matter with you? She's like, well, you gotta wash new clothes. You don't know who tried them on. Like, I know no one tried on the fucking socks. They come in a sealed plastic bag. God, you killed me. You're killing me.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Tab, we're at the 2 hour and 43-minute mark. Sage is gonna kick my fucking ass for like a
Sage.
long.
He can blow me. There's also that period where I was peeing and grabbing my gun. So anyway, this
There
has
we
been
go,
Here's
there
What I
we go.
Don't Get. I'm Tab Burt.
I'm Joel Chaco. El Chaco.
Catch you guys next
Blow
week.
my own spot. Ciao, ciao.
If you want to call into Here's What I Get Holland, call us at 704-750-9434 and tell us what you don't get, or you can visit us on the Discord under voicemail upload. We have some over there. But I have one here from Uncle Buck. This is a mini issue that he sent along.
Hey guys, it's Uncle Buck. I've got a breaking issue that I was going to try and make time to bring on the show this week, maybe pop in for just a minute, carpet bomb this issue, and then skate out, but unfortunately my schedule's just not going to let it happen. So I'm going to send you this recording instead. So here's what I don't get. That googly-eyed doorknob that worked at the police station, if you haven't seen this chick's face, I envy you because she's ubiquitous. She's everywhere.
Do you know what he's talking about, Joel?
Yeah, yes, I do. Unfortunately.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I didn't know. I didn't know. If
Yeah. Was it Memphis? Was it Memphis, Tennessee? Or it was like.
It was Tennessee. I feel like Tennessee is the correct one.
Okay, so for the people who are listening, just because I get it, but maybe you like she basically plowed every guy at the station.
Yeah, I think she had like 5. She got railed by
More than
5 guys or more at her station. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to Buck.
Where this chick worked at a police department and she got caught shagging 5 of her male coworkers, and they all got caught. They all got fired. Her cuck of a husband.
I feel like an asshole because we should have just let Buck do his thing instead of being like, by the way, everyone, Buck's a retard and doesn't know how to fill you in on things.
Take it away, Buck.
Has decided to stay with her, and I know these things because I can't get away from the social media posts. Every third post as I scroll is this woman's ugly, unfortunate face. I even told Aunt Buck while I was scrolling Facebook, I was like, hey, by the way, if you see this chick's face on my phone, it's not because I'm looking at her picture and going back to it. It's because I can't get away from her. I even tried switching to other social media platforms, hoping that maybe I would escape the memes and the articles and everything about this woman, and it's just not happening. And it's absurd. It's been 3 or 4 days at this point. Shut up about this fugly, googly-eyed bitch. But that's not how the internet works. Oversaturation of memes is such an issue. I don't even know what to say about it. Hopefully you guys have something to say.
Yeah,
Well,
no. Go ahead.
So I hear you, Buck, because that face showed up on my phone, and like a lot of times I will show memes to my wife, and like memes like that are not fun to explain. It's like, hey, why are you chuckling at your phone? And it's like, well, like they're comparing this chick who plowed a bunch of guys at like a police department that she worked at. They're comparing her with the really ugly chick that like was with SBF at the, whatever that crypto, that big crypto. What was the name of that crypto?
XPF.
SBF
Sam
is the name of the.
Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, so his girl like that
Yeah.
also plowed everybody there, and so like there was like a meme where it was like a guy at like a road, and it was a crossroads. Like you either go to the chick from the police department, or you could go to
Which
the
way,
SBF
Westerman?
girl from. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I hear you, Buck, because the thing is like there'll be a meme that's just, in my opinion, not quite good enough to be like viral. And that one was one of those ones. It felt like forced. And it was one of those ones that hit over a weekend. And in the case of this one, like when something like that comes up, my first instinct is to go, what am I supposed to be not paying attention to? But unfortunately, nothing was going on. It was just like a dead weekend. And that one seemed to be the thing that took off anyway. So that's my take on it. Buck, who is listening right now, what was your take on that one, Tab?
So I had to download Snapchat this week, which was personally devastating. As a 31-year-old person that doesn't believe in bullshit. But I had
You're only
download-
31.
I'm only 31 for now.
Okay.
I downloaded Snapchat because I'm taking this glass blowing class, and it's not just glass blowing, it's like glass blowing and also other, like, it's glass as a medium basically, because that was what was available.
Okay.
And
It's glass
So,
blowing
like-
and guy blowing. Sorry.
yes,
Get it
no,
done.
it's both of those things. And
Yeah.
you know what? There's the second one I'm very, very good at. I know how that equipment works. It was like, we need a way to like group chat everyone, instantaneously contact people, and Snapchat has worked in the past, so everybody gets Snapchat, and I was just like, I'd rather be dead. So of course I create Snapchat. Now I have like people from high school being like, "Hey, how's it going? What's your life like?" Like, please leave me alone. We haven't talked for 10 plus years. Why don't we stick to it? One fucking guy, like, I fell into a conversation. I was like, ugh. He's like, well, now I have 3 friends in St. Louis. Maybe I should head out there. No! Stay out of my fucking city, please. I don't know you. We knew each
You
other
hate it
10
when people
years
come
ago.
visit you there. Yeah.
You're nobody. You are nobody to me. Oh, fuck me. Here's some real voicemails. This is a long one. Oh, shit.
Here's what I don't get. Corporations taking stuff away from people so they can't do jobs. Now, I worked at a pizza place, and previously, the general manager, which is me, had the ability to go online and set things like whether or not we could count deliveries online, stuff like that, and take off toppings if run out of bacon or beef or what have you, or run out of Dr. Pepper or something like that. That way people aren't putting this or something that's affecting and can't get. Well, recently, in the last couple of months, they slowly phased that out. So now, if I want to turn something off online, can't take deliveries that day. Delivery drivers quit and don't show up, or are sick, or what have you. I have to place a phone call to this person, who then has to place a separate phone call to another person, who then has to get online and submit a request to have something turned off. Which then, the request will be processed and either approved. It's highly unlikely that they would deny a request like that. Still, it has to go. Now, what I could go through all my, pull it up, log in, flip, no deliveries today. For right now, until I get driving, whatever. Takes like literally 15 to 20 minutes to get, and it's just kind of infuriating. Meanwhile, we'll be getting orders for stuff that we can't fulfill because we don't have it. Deliveries that I can't deliver because I don't take it. And
I'm gonna go ahead and cut that voicemail off. I got by your body language, you can't hear what he's saying.
Well, I'm trying. I'm doing my best because out of respect for the caller, because I really appreciate when people like drop a message on, but I'm not like I was doing my best to like, I don't know, smush this into my ears to try to like hear it better. Yeah,
I was trying to turn it up. I guess his like wireless signal was so bad, but
now did that come in through like Gmail? Like
it came in through
do you have a
voicemail channel.
Okay, so did it do a better job of like transcribing it? Can you like give me a rundown of like
you have never read one of the Gmail's
Oh, I have. I remember setting that shit up.
They are dog shit, Joel. They
Yes,
are the
yes.
worst of
But
the
sometimes
worst.
they're funnier.
They
okay.
are sometimes funnier. No,
But you played it on the show, like so you must have heard it or something beforehand.
No, I do all the voicemails cold. It seems to me, based on what I was able to hear, was that he works for a pizza place. They have like an online ordering thing. They've taken away his ability to change what his specific venue is able to provide. And now he's dealing with a lot of complaints based on that because everything has to be corporatized, right? There's no, it's not like, oh, here's your local St. Louis Pizza Hut. It's like, here's your like nationwide Pizza Hut. We all offer the same thing. And then I get some fucking dipshit call. It's like, oh, by the way, we're out of cheese. which has
Yeah.
happened to me. I don't think it happened to me here. I think it happened to me when I still live in Tulsa. But I got a call once from Pizza Hut where they were like, "Oh yeah, we're actually out of regular crust. Do you have like? What do you mean you're out of? Don't you make the crust there?" But I didn't ask any questions. I just canceled my order.
As someone who worked at Pizza Hut, it was like my second job ever. Yeah, that happens. That happens because the thing is, like, the way that they like set up the dough at the beginning of the day,
Mhm.
like there's like a separate shift for like somebody who like makes a bunch of the dough during the day, and like because it's a pan pizza, right? So what they do is they like there's a process. They actually have to like make the dough, set it out properly, put it into like these like pans. It has to like sit in like the fridge for like a certain amount of time for it to like
Mhm.
leaven and all that kind of stuff. So like, I mean, like with Pizza Hut, that makes sense. Like that they would run out of dough because it just might have been a bowl on or something like that. I don't know, but like that happens. We would run out of shit all the time. And but so this guy was like more talking about like the corporatocracy of it, like the centralization of it. Like I can understand why that would be a pain in the ass, because from a local standpoint you would want to, I don't know, man. I long for the era where like it isn't calls or all those kind of things. Like I remember when I like ordered from like DoorDash for the first time, and like
Mhm.
the guy like picked up my like the driver, the delivery guy like accepted my thing, and like
Mhm.
the restaurant like made my meal, and then like it was ready and it just sat there. But there was like no way to like get it because this driver asshole, like I don't know, he like broke up with his girlfriend or something. Like he just didn't go. He just didn't go get it. And there was like no way to like intercede and like be like, hey, fuck off him, like get another guy in there. There was nothing I could do. And then like so like I had to call DoorDash like at their head office in like San
Is this in
Francisco.
Canada still?
What?
Is this in Canada? Were you in?
This was
Canada
when
at
I
the
was in
time?
Canada. Yeah, this was in Canada. Down here we've got Pedidos Ya, Monchis, and Uber Eats, and I think Pedidos Ya is basically DoorDash. But like, it was my first time using DoorDash, and like, like I shit you not, like I called the restaurant. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like I'm looking at this thing. You've already made it. Like, where's the driver? And like like you could see on the map, and he just wasn't fucking going. He just like wasn't going. He was doing something else. I don't know. He was like doing Uber or something. Like he just didn't go. But like they couldn't release it to anyone else because of their system. And like I remember after that was the first and last time I ever used DoorDash because I was like, well, fuck you. Like this is terrible. Why would I use this thing if like, and then they had the audacity to send it to my house. I was like, this is like ice cold. Like it's ice cold. Like what are you doing? But like I really to the caller who called in, try again. Like please do. Like I just couldn't hear it. I tried so hard.
Shout, just shout into your phone, man. And I get it. Like you're probably at work and you're like in the, you're like trying to sneak it in. Just wait until you get off, hop in your car, and just like fucking trust me, it's gonna be cathartic.
Yeah. Have at her. Have at her.
It is going to be cathartic, right? Bottle that shit up, finish the shift, get in your car, and just be like, every fucking person I work with is an absolutely worthless piece of shit, and I wish I could kill him, but I can't because I gotta have this fucking job so I can pay my rent and all my bills. Ah! And you just be like, you will feel massively better by the time you get home that night.
But I will say this to the caller who called in for this, dude, as a guy who like listened to a lot of like podcasts and like wrote emails in, like, and we're talking like podcasts back to the beginning of podcasts when podcasts first existed. I thank you for putting the effort in. And if you can, please do it again. I want to encourage that behavior. Please do. And I will, if it's me on the show, I will do my absolute best to listen to what you have to say because your voice matters and I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to throw that back at you.
It's a good, yeah, I agree. You're right. Here's one from Andy.
Andy here. You know, I felt sorry for you guys with your whole Stream Elements thing being so unmemorable. So I went ahead and helped you out. I made something a little more memorable. So get ready, get your pen and paper, get ready to write this down, okay? All right. To get to your Stream Elements, you go to tinyurl.com/NIGGEREICKLE. You're welcome.
I gotta listen to that again. Because all I got was the first part.
That's all you needed. That's all you needed. Tony, we disavow.
Oh, shit. So here's one from our original voicemailer. Here we go.
Here's what I don't get. Voicemails where you come across like a rambling jackass because you haven't had enough sleep.
You know, I don't want you to take it personally now that we decided to bail about 2/3 of the way through that voicemail. But
Was that
I feel you.
the way?
I've been there, right? Like I've done those, you know. I've been drunk beyond belief. So, and I've been tired beyond belief. More importantly, we've captured on the show the weekends where there have been weekends when I was in Tulsa where I worked 120 hours from like Thursday to Monday because I'm a glutton for punishment.
It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing to send me something on those things. And going back to like that last caller or 2 callers ago, not the N-word one. I can appreciate when you throw the effort in because like back in 2004, I was like listening to a lot of like podcasts in 2004, and there was one called Keith and the Girl, and it was like a comedian and his like birthday clown girlfriend. And I remember I wrote an email in to the show, and I put what I thought was a lot of effort into it, and then like they spun it weird and like shit all over it. It was the worst feeling in the world. And I was like, well, I get why they're doing this, but at the same time, like they were really like cruel and mean. It took the worst potential like interpretation of what I had to say. So when you're tired and you're giving this, I'm gonna like in retrospective, like how I was treated on Keith and the Girl, I'm gonna say thank you so much for sending that voicemail in when you're really tired and all that kind of stuff like that. Because I've been there, I feel it, and it's better than nothing. So thank you very much for sending that into the show.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be a good co-host on WATP.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Carl listens to an obscene number of podcasts. Like he listens to podcasts like you and me drink water. Because
well, I used to, but like I had kids, and then I stopped listening as much. But my podcast knowledge from like 2004 to like 2014 is great, but like like outside of that, not so good.
Well, everybody who listens to the show, that I've done WATP. I love WATP. It's one of my favorite podcasts. All of you guys that listen to WATP, start messaging Carl and be like, "Hey, we need Joel Chaka on the show. We need Joel Chaka on the show. We need Joel Chaka on the show," and I will make that happen because.
All right, you think it'll be a good one?
Oh, I think it would be great. I think it'd be great. So
awesome.
Hashtag
I'd do it.
Joel. Hashtag Chaco on WATP.
I'm in.
Start it.
Is that it for our voicemails today?
That's all of our voicemails this week.
Well, thank you very much for having me on again. I always appreciate it. And I'm glad that the power stayed on.
I'm glad the power stayed on too. It's the middle of summer there, and they have to run all their AC units.
And this has gotten gradually worse throughout the whole thing. Like this sweat stain that's coming over here. This is how much I love you all. Is I didn't have my air conditioning on the whole time. So
And
yeah,
the
man.
irony is that like I'm wearing a sweater because it's fucking freezing in this basement. Like, we could not be more opposite right now.
Exactly. But at least we're both at least like a little half cut. So that works out good.
Well, that's the episode, everyone. Leave us your voicemails, send us some comments. We'll catch you next time.
God bless. Take care. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao.